Well, guys, what's up? And welcome in to Scap Live After Dark. I, of course, am your host, Scap, and I'm sitting here in the aftermath of that game, and I'm feeling a lot like Larry Bird when they lost to the Lakers that one year. I think maybe it was, I want to say it was 87 when Larry Bird sat there at his locker post game, kind of like just a disgusted, saddened disbelief, just looking like he was on the verge of tears, basically fighting back the emotions and lamenting what had just happened to his Celtics in that series, in that game. Basically, he just said, he's just too good. There's just nothing we can do about it. When I watch this series now through 5 games, I feel that same exact desperation and awe when watching this Oklahoma City Thunder team, a team that quite frankly is unbeatable, a team that is going to win several NBA championships over the next 5 years. I mean, this could be a three-peat brewing, maybe 5, 6 over the next decade. This is going to be a special dynastic caliber team because they just can't lose. Like the Nuggets have done everything they can do. They've played as hard and as well as they can be expected to play under these circumstances throughout the course of this series. They could have won either or both of the last 2 games. They're up 6 at the end of 3 in game 4. They're up 8 at the end of game or at the end of the third in this game tonight, game 5 on the road. For the first game, really all series long, they looked like they were the better team pretty much all game long. Jokic was absolutely phenomenal tonight. He was thoroughly dominant. It was his best game other than game 1 of the series. He was by far the best player on the floor. And I mean, you can make a decent case that the starters were better than the Thunder starter for most of the night. But the margin for error is just so small for the Nuggets playing this team because, quite frankly, the starters just have to go the distance. They just have to give so much tonight. Jokic, 44 minutes. He led either team in minutes. Again, a masterpiece of a game for him, who he had come in struggling after really the first game. He had struggled in the last 3 straight. He was easily the best player in tonight's game. 44 points tonight, 15 rebounds, 5 assists. Turnovers have been an issue for him throughout the series. Only 2 turnovers tonight. He shot 17 of 25. He came in struggling with the shot tonight. He was 17 of 25, 5 of 7 from 3, 5 of 5 from the free throw line. And we did get glimpses of playoff Jamal tonight. Playoff Murray did show up. The blue arrow was out there in full effect in the third quarter. Murray played a decent game tonight. He 28 points. I mean, what can you say about that against his defense? Low volume, though, for him. 10 of 27, so 27 attempts to get those 28. 3 of 13 from the three-point line, including a myriad of misses in the fourth quarter. Good looks. But again, you just got to tip your hat to Oklahoma City. Murray was totally gassed as well in that fourth quarter. He, like Jokic, over 40 minutes, 42 minutes tonight for Jamal Murray. And really, it was just all Jokic and Murray tonight. There just wasn't enough supporting players to go around tonight for the Nuggets. The Nuggets team, who has played and fought their damnedest throughout this series against a substantially better opponent, but tonight they just didn't have enough. There was only one other player in double digits tonight on the Nuggets outside of Jokic and Murray. Again, Jokic and Murray, who 44 for Jokic, 28 for Murray. But Gordon had 13 on 6 of 13, and that was it, really. Nobody else. Michael Porter Jr. continues to just be absolutely abysmal tonight. 2 points on 1 of 7. Christian Brown, 8 points on 3 of 12. And then the bench. Really, you can kind of boil down these last 2 losses just to the glaring and startling discrepancy in the bench play. In game 4 in Denver, the bench of the Thunder outscored the Nuggets 35-8. And the starters just totally gassed out for the Nuggets in the fourth. Same deal tonight. It wasn't as glaring of a differential tonight. It was 22-10 tonight in favor of the Thunder. So not as huge of a discrepancy as it was in game 4, but still a pretty big discrepancy, enough for the Thunder to at least keep the bench unit was at least enough to keep the Thunder afloat in times that they went to them. Alex Caruso just continues to be magnificent. He off the bench hit a number of big threes tonight, just when they needed it, just when it looked like it was slipping out. A veteran presence, a champion caliber player, and his defense has been obviously instrumental throughout this series. And the bench just terrible for the Nuggets again tonight. It looks like 3 of 14 for 10 points on the night. Russell Westbrook was awful tonight. He's been really good throughout the playoffs. And it's hard to condemn any player or really any singular effort on this Nuggets team. They just, quite frankly, aren't good enough. I mean, they've played as well as they could possibly be, as well as you can possibly hope for this team to play. The effort has just been so incredible. I think just really a series for these guys to be proud of themselves. They're totally outmatched here, and it's really startling to sit back and look at a series which really the Nuggets could easily be up 3-2 in, just based on pure heart, hustle, and emotion. But ultimately, two fourth quarters in a row, had it right there. You got to get one of them. They just did not have enough in the tank to get it over the finish line tonight. SGA was very good tonight. He started off terribly, but he came out in the third quarter, matching Jokic kind of. In the fourth quarter, to me, it was all about Lou Dort, who hit 3 humongous threes. The Nuggets were holding to about a 9-point lead into about the 9-minute mark of the fourth quarter, and Lou Dort hit 3 consecutive threes to bring them within 2, and basically you could just feel what was coming from there. Just a good team effort from the Thunder. Chet Holmgren had a nice game. Hartenstein was there, 7 of 10, 15 points. Every single Thunder starter was in double figures tonight. Every single Thunder starter shot over 50% from the field tonight, outside of Jalen Williams, but Jalen Williams gets to 18 points from the free throw line primarily. And then, of course, Alex Caruso, as I mentioned, was big off the bench, 13 points for him. So 6 players in double digits on the Oklahoma City Thunder, only 3 in double digits for the Nuggets. And really, I mean, Aaron Gordon just 6 of 13 for 13 points, and nobody else even close to a remotely passable game. So finally, the Nuggets had been waiting on this big Nikola Jokic performance after game 1. He delivers it tonight. Looked like they were going to be able to get it over the finish line, but just did not have enough in the tank. And nothing really more you can say, but just tip of the hat to the better team. I've been pretty critical of the Denver Nuggets throughout the last 2 years. I think primarily critical of the front office, and in terms of roster building and creating a viable championship caliber roster around Nikola Jokic. I don't think there's any question that he doesn't have that. This team isn't talented enough to compete for championships, in my estimation. It's not talented enough to ultimately win this series. But I think probably, whereas I've been critical of the players in the past, I don't feel that sense of criticism or animosity towards these players. The only thing I feel right now for them is just as I have become a Nuggets fan. I try not to have a rooting interest in these games. Really, I haven't had a rooting interest in the NBA for several years, since Kobe Bryant retired, basically. But just something about this team has just been really, really fun for me to watch, and has really reinstilled a love of the sport for me. Really, ultimately, this team and Nikola Jokic and the players around him kind of helped pull me back into the NBA, and refound the passion and the love of the game. So just being a fan of the Nuggets, which I unfortunately have become. Unfortunate because I hate rooting for teams because of the feelings that I'm having right now. But I just have a sense of gratitude for all of the players on the team surrounding Jokic. There won't be any Jamal Murray's a bum, or even Michael Porter Jr., who's been absolutely terrible throughout this series. There won't be any Michael Porter Jr. bum videos coming anytime soon. This is a team that just lacks several pieces, in my estimation, lacks the talent, the peripheral talent around Nikola Jokic to give him any kind of a viable chance to get deeper on into the playoffs. And it is what it is, though. Ultimately, a team, I think, that really should have been swept or lost in 5 to the Clippers in the first round. Team that just fired its coach and general manager 6 days before these playoffs even began. It's just really impressive that they've been able to not just win that first round series against a superior Clippers team, but to go toe to toe with this Thunder team, a historically great team, and just give them everything that they were possibly hoping for in this series. But make no mistake, the series is now officially over. I don't see any way it gets into a game 7. The Thunder just snatched the Nuggets' hearts, in my opinion. I honestly don't know how the Nuggets overcame that devastating loss on Sunday at home, a game they should have won, in my opinion. To overcome that and to get back tonight and give this kind of an effort, and really primarily, again, nobody else showed up offensively for the Denver Nuggets tonight outside of Nikola Jokic primarily, and Jamal Murray was there in the third quarter, but Jamal Murray was pretty bad otherwise from an offensive standpoint. But again, they're giving so much effort on the defensive side. They're playing enhanced minutes in lack of any semblance of a bench, in the lacking of any semblance of a bench that they have right now. That zaps your ability to close these games. And that is inherently part of the advantage of the Thunder. That is part of why the Thunder are such significant and substantial, overwhelming favorites. 10.5-point favorites tonight before tip. They were 6.5-point favorites in both the road games at Denver. 9.5-point favorites in game 1. 11.5-point favorites in game 2. And I'm certain they're going to be probably 6 or 7-point favorites to close this out in game 6 on Thursday. Likely they will do just that. And the Nuggets ultimately, I mean, they're going to shake their heads and they're going to have a lot of long, sleepless nights throughout the offseason thinking about these last two fourth quarters that got away from them. But I think really they should just keep their heads held high, all of them, every player, including Michael Porter Jr., who I've obviously been very harsh on in the past. But this team, none of them have really anything to be ashamed of with the effort that they've given and the amount of minutes they're playing and how hard they're competing on both ends of the ball. They just need more. The Thunder are just a complete machine right now. And I think they've escaped their scare now. And now this is just all about their coronation at this point. And there will be things that go on and that happen in the offseason. Probably the Spurs, which I don't agree with. I think they're going to make a run at Giannis Antetokounmpo now with that second overall pick and the 14th overall in the lottery. I think they're going to try to pair De'Aaron Fox, who is an absolute stud. He's all NBA caliber, in my opinion. He's a perennial all-star in my opinion. And Victor Wembanyama, if he makes it back from that blood clot, he is a viable top 10 player for the next 15 years. He was well on his way to second team All-NBA, first team All-NBA defensive player of the year this year when he was shut down with those blood clots. So I don't agree. They've got young studs, a complement of young studs surrounding those. I don't agree with them going out and getting Giannis Antetokounmpo. That is undeniably a super team right there, and I think they will be a villainous force, the San Antonio Spurs, if they build that. But they potentially have that coming. I will root against them with every fiber of my being because I'll be disgusted thoroughly with the San Antonio Spurs for amassing that unholy super team juggernaut that they're probably going to be trying to build this summer. But they no doubt will be a factor in the playoffs moving forward. But this Thunder team, it is going to be almost impossible because While to me, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is not Nikola Jokic. He's not better than Nikola Jokic. He's not more valuable than Nikola Jokic, but he's right up there with the handful of the best players that the NBA has to offer, that the world has to offer. And this team is just so well structured around him. They are just a behemoth defensively at basically 7 positions deep. They come at you with 10 strong, great bench. And it's just going to be virtually impossible to beat this team 4 times out of 7 anytime soon. So the Nuggets, I don't know where they go from here. Their offseason begins, in my opinion, on Thursday. And we'll see. Like I just said about the Spurs, Houston's on the come up for sure. And the Thunder are only going to get more powerful and stronger moving forward with the lessons learned from this season. And I just don't know. Nikola Jokic, he's given it his best these last 2 seasons, and it looks like he will ultimately be finishing his career with just 1 championship. So this is a gut-wrenching night, I'm sure, for him. Again, a tremendous night for him. Finally solves the riddle, 17 of 25 from the field, 5 of 7 from the three-point line, 5 of 5 from the free throw line. Cut down on those turnovers, only 2 on the night, 44 points, 15 rebounds, 5 assists. Just ultimately not enough in 44 minutes. It feels a lot like that Minnesota series last year where they just did not have enough. So welcome in, guys. If you are just joining us here, it is Scap Live After Dark, a very somber Scap Live After Dark. I, of course, am your host, Scap, trying to pull it together and put together a little post-game show for you guys. I'm pretty disheartened. Gary, the moderator, has joined us. He was late because I was so disgusted and disheartened that I told him I likely was not going to be going on. But ultimately, I decided I don't run or hide from things when things go against me or when it's going poorly for me. I just have to stand my ground and face down the criticisms. So here I am to take on any of the comments, the criticisms, whatever may come my way here on Scap Live After Dark. I don't know really how to add Gary at this point. I do see he's on. So I'll see, maybe
add the backstage.
Okay. Gary, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. So there's Gary. Moderator Gary is on now.
All right. I got to face the music. You guys can rag me for my prediction on the Cavs. I'm not going to run from it.
Well, yes, Gary too, I guess, is facing the music. If you are just joining us here, following that just dominant 4th quarter, again, back-to-back games by Oklahoma City, and just a total team effort. Shai was big, but a lot of support in that team in that game tonight for him. Like I said, every starter in double digits, and then Caruso off the bench, massive. Tonight, though, the Cavaliers do go down, the number 1 seed out east, fallen 5 games to the Indiana Pacers. Again, I feel bad for the Nuggets tonight. I feel bad, for the Cavs. Maybe I'm getting soft. Maybe Scap Attack is getting soft.
Hey, Scap, hang on a second. Just for future reference, you guys, anybody who gives a $100 donation gets automatic dibs. I got to read this to you. We get a.
All right, we got Alatrion. How would we say this? Alatrion, maybe. Yeah, just dropped us a massive donation. So many thanks to you for coming into the Scap Live Lounge. I actually don't recognize this handle. I'm not sure if you have been on before and you're just sliding into the sponsorship area now tonight. I'm not sure if it's the fact that it looks like my dog just died, which, guys, Luna is okay. My best friend Luna, my 11.5-pound Shih Tzu, is safe, but I do look like probably my dog just died right now. So maybe Alatrion or Alatron here is just feeling my pain and sorrow here. So came in to support the stream here and drop us a big donation. So many thanks to you out there. And moderator Gary, what do they have for us tonight?
I have something to add to this. I wanted to say, going back to what you said minutes ago, because I was listening to you, they're like a piece or 2 away. Well, the thing is, they had those pieces. This may sound silly to you upon hearing, but I am telling you, if they had not, to Alatron's point here, if they hadn't overpaid in Porter and overpaid Murray, they would have had enough to keep Bruce Brown and KCP And I think if they had those two guys, they are just enough difference to put them over the edge. Okay, so to get to his comment, he's reiterating what you and I already think. Porter is getting paid $35 million to do nothing. And look what happened 2 games ago when Porter played well. 2 points, 4 boards, 2 assists, 4 fouls, 1 of 7 field goals, 0-5 from the 3 line. Just ridiculous. $35 million for that.
Yeah, I'm just looking over it right now. He came in the night 8.5 points per game on. Sorry, I'm just beside myself. 8.5 points on 31% shooting, and then to the point of Alatrion here, it's 2 points on 1 of 7 tonight. So I can't really do the quick math in making up for that. I can't really think it over. But suffice it to say, he's scoring less than probably 7 points per game on 25% shooting. And it's just a hard night. I'm just beside myself on this one. Gary, why don't you just discuss for a moment the Cavs game for us? I just have to get my head together.
Wow, thanks for that. It's not so much that I believe in the Cavs so heavily. I just don't think the Pacers are that good. I mean, they're a decent team, but I don't think they should be in the conference finals. I don't think they're that good. They're definitely overachieving. Maybe a little lucky that I don't even think they would have beaten the Bucks had Lillard been able to play. I think that's their first lucky feat right there. And I just don't respect them. They seem cocky and arrogant. And I mean, that's fine. Hopefully they'll mature. I don't hate the guys or anything. I just don't believe in the Pacers. And that's why I felt the Cavs will come back. But as you watched them tonight, they looked pretty hobbled, which I knew. But I thought as long as they're able to give it a go, I thought they'd be able to rattle 3 wins off just because I don't believe in the Pacers. So, well, I will go on to say I'll double down. They're going to get their tails walloped by the Knicks. And I don't think it's going to be close. And this is very funny for me because I love Reggie Miller. I was a huge Pacers fan when Reggie played for them. And I hated the Knicks because of that really fun rivalry. Now here we are all these years later, and it's the opposite. Now I feel like I kind of hate these Pacers, and I'm going for these hard-nosed Knicks, which would be a huge turnaround to people who knew me back in the day.
Well, Gary, yeah, I think I've got my head back on straight. Sorry about that. I had a message. I had to send something out there. Look, I started when Altrion sent that massive super chat to us. So many thanks to you for that. And I was starting to talk about the Pacers Cavs game, and I felt, like I said, maybe Scap Attack is going soft amid these playoffs, this playoff run here, but I feel an overwhelming sense of sorrow for the Nuggets, and I also feel that same sadness for the Cavaliers. I just don't think it sounds crazy to say. The fact that they won 64 games, they were the number 1 seed out east. They had the second best record in the NBA. They were 4 games worse than the Thunder on this season. So it's crazy to say that it just looked like the Cavs didn't have enough either tonight, but I think injury caught up to them throughout the course of this year, throughout the course of the playoff run, I should say. And Donovan Mitchell, look, he took a lot of flack last game for whatever happened. They were down 41 at the end of the first half. He kind of stayed in the locker room, didn't come back out for a while. He was then day to day. I think people were kind of making fun of him, suggesting he was faking an injury. He did not look right tonight, and he was gassed totally tonight. He gave it his all. He played he played a poor game. Look, he shot 8 of 25 from the field. He does end up with 35 points because he shot 21 free throws. He's 15 of 21 from the free throw line. So, he gave it his all. He was out there battling a tooth and nail to the end. He missed 3 late free throws, which was just crushing. There was like about a minute left. He got fouled, shooting a 3, missed all 3. Could have cut it to 3. Then they come back down. He hits a 3, which would have ultimately tied it. He just made the free throws, but he was literally just limping around on one leg out there. Just a heroic 35-point performance for him tonight, even amid the shooting struggles. And Garland was terrible tonight too. 11 points just on 4 of 16 shooting, 0 of 6 from the 3-point line. And things just didn't go as they should have down the stretch, sadly enough, for the Cleveland Cavaliers. I think they deserved better this year. Ultimately, if a team loses, like I just want to see them go out giving their best effort, at least giving their best shot. And I don't think that the Cavs had their best shot to be given throughout this series. It got off to a bad start because of all the injuries and stuff at the beginning of the series, and they just never fully could recover and get over that. So my hopes are that Cleveland just keeps the band together in the offseason. I don't know exactly what the books look like. I should have looked that up before we came on tonight. So I'm not quite certain exactly what's going on with their salary cap issue, but hopefully they keep all these guys together, come back and give it a better shot next year. So this is obviously just a stunning second round of these playoffs overall. We can get into it if you guys want to. We're obviously talking Nuggets Thunder right now and game 5 there. But if you want to talk about what's going on in the East, I think everybody was expecting, obviously, the 3 top favorites, the Thunder, the Celtics, and the Cavaliers in that order. Celtics are on the verge of being out. They're down 3-1. Official news today comes out that Jason Tatum did indeed rupture that Achilles, and he is out now for the foreseeable future, probably all of next year and the playoffs with the timing of this. So just a devastating confirmation. We knew what it was. He, was sobbing as he was wheeled off last night after that injury with about 3 minutes remaining in that game as the Celtics ultimately fell to go down 3-1. They're swiftly going to be out of the playoffs in my estimation, even though Boston is 8-2 this year without Tatum. I wouldn't hold my breath on that front at all. So, we'll just see where things go from here for them in the offseason. Probably that the core of that team will be different by the time Jason Tatum is able to return, is healthy enough to return. Hopefully he does come back as healthy as can be possibly expected, I should say. And of course, the Cavaliers, like I said, I'm just hopeful that maybe they can regroup, not really make any changes this summer and come back and have a healthier look at things in the playoffs next year. I think it would have been fun to see if they had a fully healthy complement of players moving forward. But alas, unfortunately in sports, sometimes that is not always the case. So, Gary, welcome in to you officially now that we have you on. Welcome to everybody. We're about a half an hour in here on the SCAP Live After Dark. I am obviously reeling. My head's not in the game here tonight. I'm sorry. I'm trying to snap out of it and get focused for you guys. So we've got about, almost 600 people in here. It is 12:40 on the East Coast here in the US of A. We do have some questions outside of Altreon, who did drop us a massive sponsorship. I just want to give a shout out to them again. Hopefully we get this. I did forget to turn on monetization on this live stream. Before I came on here. I turned it on late. I put it on after Altreon sent us this one, and a couple others also had made some very generous donations. So I'm not sure exactly. I don't really understand YouTube, guys, to be honest with you. I'm just a simple man who likes to talk shit about sports. I don't understand really the complexities of live streaming or algorithms or whatever. I don't really know what I'm doing half the time on here. So I did forget to do that. I see a lot of you guys have, outside of Altreon, have been dropping very generous donations to the SCAP Live After Dark efforts here tonight. So hopefully we can actually get those. And if not, hopefully they don't just get lost in YouTube limbo and they are returned to you guys. And that includes Serb Bra for $10. Serb Bra is in. Thank you very much for coming in here and supporting me and supporting the channel here. And it looks like from your handle also supporting Nikola Jokic. Gary, what does Serb Bra have for us tonight?
Scap, last year your channel got me into basketball and introduced me to the absolute stud himself, Nikola Jokic. Wait, did I butcher his name? How do you pronounce his first name?
Nikola Jokic.
Nikola Jokic. Okay. I really butchered that. Hashtag Serb. Ready to see you hit 100,000 and upgrade to the Platinum Lounge. Denver in 7.
Serb Bra, many thanks again for sponsoring the channel here tonight, for sponsoring this live stream. Many thanks for supporting Nikola Jokic and for supporting me. I appreciate you, your kind words, and I am, yes, looking forward to hopefully someday hitting 100,000 subscribers. Who knows exactly when that day will be? Hopefully sooner than later. And as for your Denver in 7, I don't think so. But many thanks for coming here and for at least instilling in me a little bit of positivity, making me smile with your very gracious comment there. Next up, we've got CPMYR. Many thanks, CPMYR, for coming in and sponsoring us tonight here on the live stream. Gary, what does CPMYR have for us tonight?
It really stinks to be a. Yep. Yes, it does. I am actually a Spurs are obviously my favorite team, but I have become a Nuggets fan the last couple of years. And yes, I agree. Last year gutted me. I could not believe when they lost that Game 7 to Minnesota. It really stinks to be a Nuggets fan. And all I can think of right now is to vent all my frustration on that bum ass GM Calvin Booth. Yep.
Yeah, Gary, you mentioned some of the key players that they had lost throughout the seasons, the off seasons following that 2023 championship run. Most notably, obviously, KCP, I think, who was a starter, who was a defensive kind of anchor for them and on the perimeter, and who was just a big, he just hit timely 3-point shots for them. They just didn't have enough of those guys in the fourth quarter. Ultimately, a lot of good looks just did not go down for them in the fourth quarter. And, Green was another big guy that they let go, obviously, in Brown. Then ultimately, if they have those 3 players, I think they're up 3-2 now in this series. But yeah, you got to blame Calvin Booth on that, who wanted to go with the youth movement, who wanted to let the veterans go. And, it's hard to say like how much the ownership was involved in making those financial decisions and how much, it was just Calvin Booth. I would think that it was primarily Calvin Booth since ownership fired Calvin Booth. So they obviously didn't agree with some of the decisions and moves that Calvin Booth had made. So CPMYR, I agree with you. I think the Nuggets, look, these players are what they are. Like they're not bums. All right. It is unfair of me to refer to these guys as bums over the last year and a half. And I, for what it's worth, apologize to those players. And I regret making those commentaries. They're not bums. They are overpaid, but that's not their fault. That's
Jamal Murray.
That's Calvin Booth's fault. What's that?
You take back what you said about Jamal Murray?
Yeah, I don't think Jamal Murray is a bum. I think he is overpaid.
Is this AI?
I think he is an unreliable.
Hold on. Scott, somebody we need to contact Scott's family and see if he's been kidnapped because I don't know. Are you coming around to my side? What I've been telling you the last year?
The team, I love the players. They have a lot of heart. They've given a lot of effort in this series. They've played their asses off. No, pun intended. They've played their asses off. They've sold out. They've done it all. They've given everything they have to give. It's just not enough. Their team's just not good enough. And that's why when I came on, I referenced that Larry Bird desperation when he was sitting in his locker just at a loss. That's pretty much what I am. Like, this team is good. Like, this team is clutch. Like, this team finds a way to win these close games, but just the attrition of the series and just the run of the playoffs and really the year as a whole, having to push minutes and play just play so many minutes to even win, get to 50 wins, get in a position to have the 4 seed, and then just going all the extra minutes last series, all the extra minutes this series, like it's just catching up with them in these fourth quarters. And like ultimately, look, it's like maybe that's why all of these players go and get super teams and like build, get great players around them, because like it's hard. It's hard. Like it's not supposed to be easy, but it stinks seeing other players in this era just stealing rings. Like LeBron has 4 rings and Nikola Jokic is going to have 1. Like that's not fair because LeBron stole 4 rings. He won them the wrong way by stacking people around him because he couldn't get over the hump. So he stacked championship, and other players throughout this era have done it too. It's not just LeBron James. LeBron James started it, but every player is trying to do it. Mostly every great player has tried to do it. Except for Nikola Jokic. He just tries his damnedest with what he has around him. It's admirable to see. It's respectable to see. Ultimately, he's going to get 1, which is more than like some players like Charles Barkley could say, or Karl Malone could say. Patrick Ewing, like they're great players that ultimately could never get over the hump. So the fact that he found a way to do it like 1 time, I mean, like just, you got to just say kudos to him for trying to do it the right way, for battling his hardest, but like he doesn't have enough. Like those players just aren't good enough to compete. Like it's not a negative commentary against the players. Like it's bad team building, it's bad decisions from the front office. And but I just unlike last year against Minnesota, like I didn't see this kind of fight that I've seen from these players this year. I'm just so proud of the whole team. Not just Jokic, like the whole team and the effort that they've given in this series.
Hey, Scap, you would agree that OKC this year is better than Minnesota was last year, right?
I think, yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah.
So my point is, like you're saying, you didn't see as much fight last year as this year. The difference is Jamal Murray was injured, playing hobbled last year. That's the difference. It's not that the heart wasn't there. The physical strength wasn't there because he was hobbled. It was a testament of his heart last year that he was out there trying. Kind of like even what Garland was doing tonight. The Cavs, he tried. That's what I said when he sat out the first 2. I said, Garland, you got to at least come in and try. If you can't give 100%, it's okay, but at least try to do what you can, unless you have a backup who can come in and perform better. But if you don't have, and we know that's the Nuggets' weakness is depth. So Jamal couldn't sit out and let a backup play better because they don't have anyone better. An injured, hobbled Jamal Murray was still more effective than anyone they had on the bench. So that's what I've been telling you, is that this team just has so much heart. That's why I love them for ever since 23. Ever since they beat the Lakers in 23, and I saw all that heart and grit, because like you even said, you said the Lakers were ahead like 70% of every game they played, but the Nuggets always brought it all together at the end.
Yeah, and they win those games. Typically, they find a way to win those games. They had the ability. It was right there the last 2 games. They just couldn't get it over the finish line. And
we got one more. Hey, go down to the very end. Altreon gives another 99 piece. So we're going to go ahead and read that. Then we'll go back up to the top.
Altreon, many thanks to you, because I'm not sure if I got that first one. So many thanks to you for coming back in over the top and delivering another one to the Scap Live After Dark Lounge here. You certainly are doing your best to uplift Scap here on a very solemn, somber, and sad night here. But many thanks for coming back in. And Gary, what does Altreon have to add to his last super that we hopefully got?
Well, he's picking up right what we're talking about right now. He says, as a matter of fact, I'm adding to this. Thank you again, Altreon, for this very generous 99 piece. Riddle me this. What does Porter do that Aaron Gordon can't? I can name several things Aaron Gordon can do that Porter can't.
I mean, look, Aaron Gordon is, first of all, a much better defender than Michael Porter Jr. is a horrendous defender. Look, I said I wasn't going to get down on Michael Porter Jr., but yeah, 8.5 points coming in to the game 5 tonight. on 31% shooting. He was 1 of 7 tonight for 2 points. So again, my quick math isn't going to be that good, but it's around 6 points, and he's per game now at this point, and he's under 30% from the field. He's making nearly $40 million a year. And it's like, if he was just like a 10 point per game score on 40% right now, they're probably up 3-2. He can't defend at all. He can't put the ball on the floor at all. He can't create shots for anybody else. He doesn't rebound that well. He's like 6'10". He doesn't even rebound that well for how tall he is. The fact that somebody gave that guy a $40 million a year contract is just startling, stunning, and just an unbelievable factoid for me at this point, at this stage of my life, and at this stage of my NBA fandom. But again, I'm not blaming Michael Porter Jr. for this. I'm blaming that bum, Calvin Booth. That's the one guy that I will come on here and call a bum.
I agree.
The loser scrub Calvin Booth, who didn't deserve that job from the get-go. And then for that, I blame the loser ownership, the Kroenke family, Josh Kroenke, this damn loser. Gary, one of the things that I absolutely hate is nepotism, entitlement.
Yes.
People that don't do anything to earn what they have. Josh Kroenke is a poster child for that. This little smarmy, like 43-year-old entitled brat did absolutely nothing in his life, nothing whatsoever, to deserve anything that he has. His mommy was an heiress to the Walmart fortune, and his daddy married mommy with the heiress's fortune to that Walmart cash, and he created this massive sports media conglomerate. His dad did. So now they've got that money, they've got the Walmart money, and this smarmy little punk chump, Josh Kroenke, has been running the team. And if you've seen this guy, he looks like you would expect. He looks like I'm explaining him. He's he's like a hipster with this slick back hair, this weird beard. He looks like a damn Three Musketeer. And he's running the Nuggets into the ground. He's running Nikola Jokic's prime into the ground by hiring this loser Calvin Booth, who, again, someone that didn't deserve what they had. So this guy, Josh Kroenke, who doesn't deserve what he has, gives Calvin Booth a job that he shouldn't have. And all of it now has destroyed Nikola Jokic's prime. He's going to be 31 years old next year. There's no way out of this. And Michael Porter Jr., is just a resultant side piece of all of this whole equation, leading and beginning with Josh Kroenke, the king idiot himself. So that I am very confident and able to say I can't begrudge Michael Porter Jr. Look, if somebody shows up and wants to give me $150 million contract for being a scrub-like player, which Michael Porter Jr. has been in the playoffs virtually the last 3 straight years, I mean, I don't begrudge him from taking that. I would take the money too. But I have to begrudge the guy that gave him the money. Right. And I certainly blame the guy that let that person have a job, empowered that guy to give out these contracts. And even Jamal Murray, again, he's been fantastic this playoffs, in my opinion. He was a volume scorer tonight. Wasn't great, but he has given everything that I would expect. He's given Jokic enough as a secondary player for them to win this series. But that's an overpaid contract as well. That's a contract that he should, quite frankly, should not have had. I mean, $50 million. He's like the 6th highest paid player in the NBA. So,
and to emphasize what you're saying, this is even worse. If you can believe it or not, this is even a worse example of nepotism than Bronny James getting drafted to the Lakers, because at least Bronny, even though he's not NBA ready, and maybe he never will be, but at least he is a good basketball player. Maybe not an elite basketball player, maybe not an NBA ready basketball player, but at least he's a good basketball player who can shoot and dribble, who knows fundamentals of basketball. Whereas this jackass, like you said, has done nothing his entire life but inherit a fortune passed on to him. Absolutely. He doesn't even have the fundamentals. So that makes him even worse than Bronny James.
Yeah, it's a fair point. And at least LeBron is whatever by empowering Bronny and getting Bronny on into the mix is really just hurting himself. Whereas Nikola Jokic is just an innocent bystander here.
Right.
He's catching all these stray bullets from this other guy running his team into the ground. But Altron, again, many thanks for you coming back in with another very generous donation.
Yes, sir. We're going back to the top.
Yeah, I think we've got Sun
Okay,
Valley Drive up next, Gary. I do believe. I think
Yes,
we already addressed. Yes, we got on the Calvin Booth train
him.
here with CPMYR. Thanks to you, CPMYR. And now we're to Sun Valley Drive. What does what do they have for us, moderator Gary?
Scap is a Jokic truther. If Scap was our GM, we wouldn't be as.
Yeah, a lot of people. I think I get misconstrued as a Jokic jock sniffer, as a Jokic sniffer, or whatever, as I'm called. But because that's pretty much a term I created, the LeBron jock sniffers. So now people, the Jokic haters, are trying to turn that around now on me and utilize that against me. But ultimately, I do believe that I'm just a truther because I'm just calling it the way that it is. I'm just saying it the way that I see it. Jokic hasn't been perfect in this series. In fact, he's been really bad in 3 of the 5 games. But the degree of difficulty that he's going up against is like how like in gymnastics and figure skating, you kind of measure how do they perform and what is the level of difficulty of the program that they're putting forth, right? So same with diving. All these Olympic sports generally you measure them on the scale of the difficulty of the program that they're attempting. Like the Jokic program that he's attempting right now is a 10. I mean, the Thunder are a historically great defense. They're arguably the best defense this century against league averages based on other teams' defenses pertaining to their league averages. And this defense is totally and solely dug into him the whole game. There's doubles, triples, and all of these guys are like top 20 league-wide rated defenders. So he's getting double and triple teamed pretty much every possession down by top 20 defenders all the way around him. And I mean, I don't know. Again, my quick math isn't good. He's averaging right now, probably after the night factored in, I don't know, 29 points, 16 rebounds, and 5 assists per game on like 41 or 42% shooting. I think he's playing a marvelous series, all things considered. And look, I'm shocked by Jamal Murray. He's not shooting well. He's at around 40% as well from the field right now. But he has been really good against these hellacious perimeter defenders that Oklahoma City has to throw at his way throughout the game. And he's got to play. He's forced to play substantial minutes as well throughout this. And he's playing well on defense too. He's giving an effort above what he typically does on that side, just like this whole team pretty much. So I cannot begrudge the players. They've given everything they have. They've done all that they can. And it's just, quite frankly, not enough. It's just, they're just playing a much, much better team. But thank you, Sun Valley Drive, for coming in. Thank you for supporting us here in the Scap Live After Dark.
I will read this. Hey, I'm sending you a quick text, Scap, giving you a quick note. Admon Vincent. Oh man, I don't know about this, but
yeah, we've got Admon Vincent, by the way, who is
Porter was pretty bummy tonight. We see how much better the Nuggets were when Porter and Jamal shot well. I think it was game 3. Yes, they do need a shot creator, but I don't think KD or Booker or Devin Booker are the answer, simply because how would they even acquire those guys? But they do need someone else. So Porter was a bum. Nuggets need a shot creator, KD or Book. What says you, Scott?
Yeah, Admon, thank you for coming back into the sponsorship area tonight on Scap Live After Dark. I know you're a repeat provider here, a sponsor and for Scap Live, so I do appreciate you. And MPJ, like I said, we've been kind of crapping on him, but look, ultimately, when you're in just a tough, hard-fought, really tight series. I mean, any 5 of these games realistically could have went either way other than the game 2 massacre that Oklahoma City threw Denver's way. So when you look at a guy who's it's like 6 points per game on 29% shooting, just about, for Michael Porter Jr. is making $40 million a year, like that's obviously going to be glaring and it's going to stick out. The Nuggets 100% unequivocally need another shot creator. Jamal Murray is great at off ball actions. He's great at dribble handoffs, off catch and shoots, coming around screens, off two-man action with Nikola Jokic. He's great at those things when he's got his shot falling. He's really, really great. But when Jokic isn't there, or when Jokic is bottled up, or when Jokic is having a bad game, like Jamal Murray really isn't an individual creator in his own right. He's not getting Jokic any looks, really. He's not freeing Jokic up. I agree full-heartedly that the Nuggets are undeniably a secondary creator away from being a realistic threat to win another championship anytime in Jokic's career. I don't think KD I don't think Devin Booker's going anywhere, first of all. Phoenix is going to probably blow that up, but they're going to keep Booker and build around him, I think, for the future. KD is 37 years old. He's played in 247 of like the 427 games since he ruptured his Achilles at the age of 30. So he's missed, roughly 200 of the 400 games since rupturing that Achilles. He's now 37 this year. He played in only 50 some odd games this year. He wasn't available down the stretch, and he's not even free. So it's going to take some kind of a package. So I don't think it's wise, with as thin as the Nuggets are right now already, with as little as they have. Really, they're just a big four, and they're three of the four aren't even that big. You really don't have much to give up to bring in a 37-year-old guy that may or may not be available. But Adam, on your overall premise, I do agree with and support. They do need a secondary shot creator. There's no doubt about that. Karthik Shankar's in. Karthik is a regular sponsor here in the lounge. He back again tonight. Many thanks to you. I'm I'm really humbled and blown away by the super chat support, by really just all the repeat people who just keep coming in here night after night. I'm just touched by your guys' kindness and generosity. But Karthik, I know you're here often and always contributing. So thank you so much. And Gary, what does Karthik have for us?
He actually raises an excellent point. Jokic's greatness is his own kryptonite. He has made some absolute bums look like world beaters, and now their ridiculous contracts are haunting him now.
Yeah, this is a great point, Karthik. He is such a great floor riser that he is just making these routine average players look great. That's pretty much been my point for the last 2 years since I've had this channel, basically, and since I've been talking about the Nuggets and their supporting cast. Like, the players do put up good numbers from time to time. They do look like viable all-stars from time to time, but that's only because Nikola Jokic is making them look like that. But when you get into the playoffs, like, there's a difference between the regular season, doing this 82 games a year or whatever, and then when you get into the playoffs against a vastly superior team with dug-in, concentrated defenses that are going to be geared towards stopping him and taking something away, like, there's going to be it's going to look different ultimately when you get into that kind of a setting in a 7-game series. Like, it doesn't matter what the adjustments are at that point. It doesn't matter, what you do from game to game. You're playing the same team. They know exactly what you want to do. And for the Nuggets, what they do is just revolve. Nikola Jokic is like a sun, and all the other Nuggets players are planets just revolving around his excellence and greatness. But when you have this great of a defense, and with the pieces that are positioned perfectly to defend Jokic and to at least take something away, either take his efficiency in scoring or his ability to facilitate to others, take something away, which, even though he had 44 tonight, 44 points on ridiculous, probably 70+% true shooting percentage, he still only had the 5 assists, which is, he's averaging 10 assists all year. So they can take something. And when that something is removed, just like last year against the Timberwolves, I mean, Jokic was good I think he's 33 points or something, 13 rebounds, 8 assists or something per game last year against the Timberwolves. But like, it just wasn't quite enough because that defense is just so good. They had so many extra pieces to throw at him. They had a good bench, just like the Thunder. Like, it's just too much. Like, he can't neutralize the advantages that these far superior teams have. So whatever, people are going to try to paint me as some kind of an apologist or some kind of a jock sniffer, whatever. Like, I'm just saying it the way it is. These players, while I admire their effort and the heart and the will that they've displayed in this series and throughout this whole playoff run, they're just not good enough. So like and unfortunately, it sounds like I'm being critical of these players, and it does, and I have been that in the past. Like, I admit it, guilty. I have been critical of these players. I have called many of these players bums. They're not bums. They're just overpaid and overrated. They're just simply not who Jokic makes them look like most of the year, and they come unraveled, unfortunately, right around now in the playoffs. So I don't know what the answers are contractually. They're up against it. They're pinched into the apron range. There's no room for improvement of this team. They don't have a lot of draft assets moving forward over the next 5 years. There's really, unfortunately, no room for improvement. So I mean, it's just going to be Jokic just fighting with whatever he has around him, and them giving hopefully as admirable of an effort as they gave in this series. But ultimately, it probably will never be enough to get him even close to another championship. This year is probably going to be the last good look with what's going on in the East. The emergence of probably the Spurs, I think, now got to be considered the front runner to get Giannis Antetokounmpo, and then just how much better these Thunder can get. Because speaking of assets, they have tons of them. They have like, I don't even know, like 17 first-round picks over the next 5 or 6 years. So they're only going to get much better. So this is, these last 2 years, this year and last year, pretty much the last good looks that soon to be 31-year-old Nikola Jokic is probably ever going to get. But thank you, Karthik. We've got Mason in. Mason is a repeat here in the SCAP live After Dark Lounge. So many thanks for your return to the lounge here tonight. And what does Mason have, Gary, for us tonight?
Okay, first of all, why is his last name pronounced Brown when it's spelled Braun? Is that not spelled Braun? I thought
it is pronounced brown like the color. That is not misspelled though. That is the proper spelling. It does look like brown, or brawn, I should say, but it is pronounced like the color brown. So yes, that is. We have not been mispronouncing it. It just is a weird spelling of it, and it's pronounced like the color.
Yeah. Okay. Porter, Brown, and Russ offered nothing this game. Yeah, Brown was lighting it up the first quarter, but then went cold.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at those three, like, again, you get my math. I'm just so bad at math. I think it's 72 points between Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray. 72 of the 105 ultimately for them. Again, this looks a lot like Game 7 last year against the Minnesota Timberwolves, where those two had like 77, and then the rest of the team had like 20. Very similar game tonight. Aaron Gordon has been great all playoffs. I don't want to disparage any of these players. He not that great tonight. He had a lot of good looks from three, like just a lot of good looks that are pivotal misses when things are kind of slipping away from you. And if just this one shot goes down, you stem the tide. And Gordon had a number of those. He was 1 of 5 from 3 tonight. He's hit a number of massive shots this playoffs, but just 13 on 6 of 13 from him, and then literally nobody else. Porter with 2 points. Christian Brown, 3 of 12 from the field tonight, 8 points, 2 of 8 from 3. And Russell Westbrook was just awful. 1 of 7 from the field, 0 of 3 from 3 for 4 points. And he had a number of shots that they just gave him in the fourth quarter and in the later stages of the third quarter. Like, they just gave him the shots. They were so wide open, and he didn't even graze the rim on these shots. He was just hoisting air balls tonight. So, Mason, I agree. It's just not good. So it just unfortunately it's sad, but it just is. It is what it is. A great effort, but it's just not enough. We got Druid Trading in next. Druid Trading Bam in. Druid Trading, thanks for joining us here in the sponsorship area. What do they have here for us?
First non-Jokic field goal made, 1 minute left in the fourth.
Yeah, I mean, Jokic had, I don't have the fourth quarter number specifically up, but he had 31 points at the end of the third. He ends the game with 44. So yeah, he had 13 points in the fourth. The team had 19 total. So, I mean, it's just a superior team effort by the Oklahoma City Thunder. Sadly enough, like I said, I have been proven wrong to some degree, though. I didn't think that the Nuggets had any shot in winning this series. They should. I mean, they could have won either of both the last two games. They could have won the series tonight ultimately, or at least be up 3-2. Just the basketball gods, it just wasn't in the cards. Ultimately, the Nuggets have to be perfect. The Thunder were not good tonight. They were not that good last game. They weren't good last game. They've been playing their C games throughout the course of this series, but ultimately, even them playing their C games, the Nuggets basically have to play an A game to get 4 wins out of 7, and they just haven't really delivered a total A game. The 2 games, Jokic has been masterful in games 1 and 5. Not a lot of supporting cast help. In game 1, they were able to get it on really just a total choke job by the Thunder. Tonight, the Thunder did enough. They did what they had to do again in the fourth quarter to get this one. And, it just is what it is. It's going to be SGA, and the Thunder will be closing this out on Thursday night and advancing. And all you can really do is just tip your cap to them. It's just a great team. And, you're going to look back. This isn't like going to be a Michael Jordan-like run by Shea, but you're going to look back in probably like a decade and say, like, a lot of great players just didn't get it because the Thunder were just too damn good. And I think Jokic, unfortunately, now 31 next year, and with the structure of the salary cap and the supporting players on that team, I think you're just going to look back at him and say, like, he gave everything. He was the best player in the world, for 6, 7, 8 years, but he just couldn't get past that one title because these guys are just going to win every single year. They're just that good, that complete, and that total of a team. So Drew Trading, Bam, many thanks for you. We've got the old mailman in to the sponsorship lounge area here, or I should say the sponsorship area in the lounge. Welcome, the old mailman, and thank you for being here and sponsoring us. Gary, what does the old mailman have for us tonight?
It's unfortunate, but this team has zero depth. Porter makes way too much money. Another year of Jokic's prime wasted. Shaking my head. Yeah,
the last 2 games, highly winnable games, and going into the fourth quarter, the Stars just totally gassed out, and the bench cumulatively the last 2 nights in games 4 and 5, ultimately with 18 total points in both games on less than 30% shooting. So they just gave no relief to the starters. The starters ultimately had to go extra minutes. And when you're going extra minutes against this tenacious of a defense they're very rested because of how their depth is, it's just, it makes you prone to errors. It makes you prone to running out of gas in the fourth. And as they say, it just is what it is. The Thunder have been magnificent in terms of their team building. They have the best in the business, and the Nuggets, well, they had the worst in the business for about 2.5 years, and those 2.5 years were enough to destroy this team and destroy Jokic's shot at ever getting another championship. Old mailman, thank you for coming in. We've got Stephanie in, actually. Stephanie, who is a member here, an avid member of the SCAP After Dark Lounge, and I know she's been having a tough playoff run as well. I know her, I believe Cavs. Her Cavs went out tonight in 5. So sincerest condolences to you, Stephanie. I'm obviously having a tough night as well here. So thank you for coming in and for supporting me in the lounge here. Gary, what does Stephanie have for us?
Real quick, Stephanie, just a quick FYI. I am actually right now constructing a video talking about this exact same issue. And I thought I was going to have it done last week, but I keep finding more and more information to add. And it's turning into a 30, potentially 40-minute exposed video on the media and LeBron James. So, Stephanie, be on the lookout on my channel, Gary828, and I hope to have this video posted within the next 2 to 3 days. So let me go ahead and read. Scap, let's shift gears here. We've been through enough since the lottery yesterday. Why is LeBron so loved and protected by the NBA and media? Why him? And that's exactly what I talk about on my video coming up.
Well, Stephanie, it's a great question. And thank you again so much for coming in and supporting me here. It's a great question. I don't necessarily have the full answer. LeBron ultimately came in. I think there was a sea change, obviously, occurring right when LeBron came in. Michael Jordan had come back for his third. He had come out of retirement for a second time, I get. Well, he retired at 29, came back, retired or he came back and played till he was 35, retired again, and then ultimately retired for the third and final time in 03, I believe. So, LeBron then came in that year. So essentially Michael Jordan, even though he was kind of old, getting older in the tooth at that stage, he was still kind of a pervasive part of that NBA. So right when Jordan was essentially heading off into the great unknown of retirement for real that time, the final retirement, and riding off into the setting sun, you had Kobe Bryant, I think, that was poised to take over and seize control of the NBA at that time. But, there was some elements going on circling around Kobe Bryant right around that time as well. They lost that NBA Finals against the Detroit Pistons right in that time span, the 2004 Finals. A really kind of humiliating loss, I think, for a Laker team that had Kobe, Shaq, albeit a 40-year-old Karl Malone and an older Gary Payton, but four kind of legendary players. They lose in 5 to a team, really just a team of misfits with like one all-star on it. So that was kind of a dark eye for Kobe, I think, a black eye, if you will, losing that series. And then he leveraged his free agency to force Shaquille O'Neal out of town, kind of force Phil Jackson off that team. So, Kobe was kind of taking the selfish ball hog narrative, wearing that kind of narrative from the media at that point, not to mention the off-court incidences that transpired in Eagle County, Colorado, the criminal charges ultimately, which were leveled against him and then ultimately dropped, though, but still something that was hanging over him for a full year. So Kobe Bryant, for a number of reasons, while he was by far and away the best player in the NBA at that time, and it was his turn, he was 26 years old at that point. It was essentially his turn to take that torch and lead it. The media was reluctant to give it to him, though, because of all of the off-court things that were happening, not just from Colorado, but the stuff with the Lakers and forcing Shaq and Phil out. And then, look, the Lakers made a poor move. They did get rid of Shaq, but they got a shitty deal in return. They brought back Lamar Odom, Brian Grant, and Caron Butler was the package that they brought back for Shaquille freaking O'Neal, who was still elite. He finished second in the MVP the next season. He won a championship the year after that with Dwayne Wade, still playing at a very high level. So you brought literal peanuts back. So the Lakers were absolutely gutted. They stunk. So not only did Kobe have those things going on around him, but the Lakers were also losing in the first round of playoffs. So they look around, I think, the NBA, they panic. The NBA's mouthpiece media panic. And they're like, oh my God, Michael Jordan's he's not coming back again. This guy's 40 years old. We've seen him come back multiple times in the past, but it ain't happening this time. And now this guy probably that we had, slated to become the next Jordan, well, he's kind of lost his luster and shine for us as far as we're concerned. what the hell are we possibly going to do here? Oh, well, look at this young kid, this young heralded superstar coming from high school, the chosen one, if you will, the King James. Like and look, credit to him. He did play. LeBron was extra. He was upper echelon when he came in from the get-go. 20 points per game, 5 rebounds, 5 assists in his rookie season. Rookie of the year, although I think Carmelo Anthony actually should have won it that year, but still, LeBron was very, very good that year. And then he took a meteoric rise, a leap into year 2. He went right in. He nestled right into his career-wide averages right into year 2 of like 27, 7, and 7. And he was MVP caliber basically from year 3 on at the age of whatever, 20 or 21. So he was living up to his billing to some degree, and the NBA was in desperate need of finding someone to make the face of the NBA, and they just threw in behind this guy. They went full bore, and they hoisted him up, I think, to too high of a level too soon, and too many people bet on him, and I think that he failed ultimately because, look, there is no failure in losing. The failure is in quitting and giving up. The guy quit. He gave up on his organization. He quit. He gave up on himself. He basically dishonored the sport of basketball, as far as I'm concerned, in going and building that super team at the age of 26 in Miami, and really just jumping from one super team to the next to steal as many cheap rings as he could, empowering other players to do the same, and trashing the entire NBA. But the media was already too dug in, so now they just try in revisionism to go back and change the narrative on all of these failures that he's had along the way. And they've doubled down and tripled down and quadrupled down. And at this point, I think they're likely covering up a pretty substantial past of PED usage. And we've just gotten to this point where the LeBron rules are real, and they're going to do everything they can to protect the legacy of LeBron. And I think the league as a whole is just going to be better and can start healing once he gets the hell out of the NBA. So, Stephanie, great question. Thanks for joining us. And I will just we've already addressed Altreon and his 2 massive super chats to us, donations. Thank you so much again. I just wanted to give him a shout out one more time, and also just give MPJ like the antithesis of a shout out, just a reverse shout out. This guy, right around 6 points per game now on like 29% shooting for $40 million a year. A guy, to Altreon's point, that can't put the ball on the floor, can't defend, can't get anybody else shots. Essentially, his only job is make 3-pointers. Like, just be a spot up 3-pointer and hit your wide open threes, of which you will get many of them. 0 of 5 tonight. Just a really devastating performance from him. And Altreon, thanks again for coming in here with 2 big time super chats. I do appreciate it.
One.
We've got a third one. Did you just say a third one?
A third one for 50 coming up in a bit. Yeah.
Well, I'll just go and spot shadow him real fast.
Okay,
for giving yet another massive super chat. Altreon is absolutely making it poor here in the Scap Live After Dark Lounge tonight. He's making it rain money too. The rain is disguising my tears that I was weeping before and likely will weep after tonight. I'll be crying myself to bed after these back-to-back Nuggets losses, 2 very, very highly winnable games for them. But what does Altreon have this third time in for us, Gary?
Don't know how many people in here watch the NHL, but Calvin Booth was our Stan Bowman. Both benefited from nepotism. Booth was given a job by Nepo Baby, where Stan is the Nepo Baby, and both destroyed their teams. Absolute bum-ass scrubs.
Altreon, I do get the reference, and I full-heartedly endorse that reference. It's not something we haven't seen in the past. Obviously, great men building great fortunes and buying teams, and then their scrub bum offspring coming in like this loser Josh Kroenke and the loser GM Calvin Booth that he hired. I wish I could say this is an isolated incident. It's not. It happened with the Buss family and the Lakers. Jim Buss, bumbling moron that he is, and Jeannie Buss, fool that she is, have been trading off, seeing who could dishonor the late great father, Dr. Jerry Buss, and everything that he meant to that city and to the NBA as a whole. Obviously, the Steinbrenner kid in New York is an idiot. Jim Irsay, that bum for the Colts, who took over at the age of 37, 38, just another Josh Kroenke, stealing that team from his dad and running it into the ground. Luckily for him, Irsay. And the thing that really, it's just so unfair, quite frankly. There is no justice in the universe. There's no justice in this world or in sport. That Jim Irsay also, just a fool that he is, a village idiot stooge, stumbles upon Peyton freaking Manning to carry his loser ass for the vast majority of his tenure there, to any semblance of success that they had. He then cuts Peyton Manning, thinking he's done. Peyton Manning went on to win another MVP and another Super Bowl, and set the all-time record for yards and touchdown passes after Jim Irsay cut him. Jim Irsay wasted Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning luckily scrounged together another Super Bowl at the end where he really wasn't at his best, didn't deserve that Denver Super Bowl, but he deserved more in Indianapolis that he couldn't get because of Jim Irsay and his putrid ineptitudes. So it's basically playing the role of Peyton Manning now in Denver for Josh Kroenke, bum that he is Nikola Jokic, unfortunately. Maybe Nikola Jokic will hopefully scrounge some championship together later on in his career somewhere. I don't know really what hope he has in Denver moving forward. Probably not much, Altreon, but many thanks again for just a massive night of support from you. I do really appreciate you. And another great point, by the way, by you. All right, Gary, let me work my way back up. I don't want to miss any of these.
You won't go up to sipping $4.99. Right.
Okay. We got Sippin here. Sippin, thank you so much and welcome in to the Scap Live After Dark Lounge. Thank you for the support here and the sponsorship. Gary, what does Sippin have for us?
And he is really picking up right where Stephanie left off on the above post. End of La Media and Clutch Sports when the true GOAT MJ returns as special contributor on NBC.
Yeah, Sip, and I did a little video on this yesterday, just a quick little 3-minute news update on Michael Jordan. For those of you who are just joining us here into the Scap Live After Dark area, first of all, many welcomes to all of you out there who are joining us on this somber night. I think Cleveland goes out on their shield, not the way they wanted their season to end in 5, obviously, as the number 1 seed, but they just kind of ran out of it. Injuries depleted them. The players played everything that they could, played it to the bone, gave everything they had. And the Nuggets did the same in the late game, just not enough from them either. And if you are just joining us and you did not hear the news yesterday, Michael Jordan, we don't know the specifics of exactly what he is going to be doing for NBC Sports, but he is back. The GOAT is back. Michael Jordan. NBC will return their rights, the NBA broadcasting rights that they have been without since 2002. So the NBA, for those of you who are old like me, remember how what a prominent part NBC played, in the 90s. And to me, I think of that jingle, that NBC jingle, and, they always seem to play Jordan's Bulls. So, they haven't had NBA games on since 2002. Jordan retired in 2003. He's been largely absent from the NBA limelight since then, but both of them are back in the fall of 2025. NBC now with an 11-year deal to broadcast NBA games, and Michael Jordan joining the team in some capacity. What capacity that is, we do not know yet, but I, for one, am very excited, and I'm looking forward to the real GOAT maybe critiquing the fake GOAT sometime next year. So that should be fun to watch. And Sippin, thank you. Many thanks to you for coming in. We also have R. Chesser here coming in. R. Chesser, many thanks to you for being here. Gary, what do they have for us?
Love your content, Scap. These lives are bomb and fun. Nuggets are a scary bunch. They almost stole this one, but not meant to be. I got the Thunder in 7.
Archester, thank you. I think that these lives are fun most nights. They're not tonight because I was absolutely devastated. I'm not going to lie. I root against many players, both in the NFL and the NBA. Pretty much that's all I do though, is root against players. I just have certain players I don't want to see win. I haven't really rooted for a player since the guy over my shoulder there, Kobe Bryant, since he left the NBA. I haven't really rooted for anyone. And I kind of prefer that because I don't like feeling just this absolute gutted feeling that I've got right now. That really is a devastating loss. Because I think the winner of this series wins the championship, and the Nuggets just had two games that they really could have got either one of them in 4 and 5, but they just couldn't get either. And it's just a heart-wrenching loss. But many thanks to you for coming in.
Hang on, are you changing your position? Because if I remember correctly, I said at the beginning of this round that I felt like this was the real finals, Nuggets and the Thunder, and I was disappointed they met so early in the playoffs. And you pushed back and said, no, the Nuggets aren't even close. They're not even better than the Timberwolves. And I don't even think you thought they were better than the Celtics or Cavaliers. Are you changing your position?
Well, yeah, I think the Celtics would have probably beaten the Nuggets, and the Cavaliers just housed the Nuggets as well earlier in the year. But who knows? I mean, those are different teams now, and ultimately they're both going to lose. So, like, the Nuggets obviously could have beaten anything that would have come out of the East. And while I think the Timberwolves are better than the Nuggets, just like the Thunder are better than the Nuggets, just like the Clippers were better than the Nuggets, I think this was really the only team the Nuggets couldn't beat. And if they got over this somehow, I think, especially with what's happened in the East, I think the Nuggets ultimately would have went on, and somehow it would have been an absolute just shocking, probably the most shocking championship I've ever seen in my lifetime of watching the NBA. But unfortunately, they just couldn't get one of these two games. So it is what it is. Art Chester, thanks for the support. And I got the Thunder just closing out next game. I don't think there's any way that the Nuggets are going to be able to get this into a game 7 in Oklahoma City. But I've been wrong every which way about this series. So who knows? Maybe I'll be wrong one more time. Lester's Bananas in. Lester's Banana, who's a repeat sponsor here in the Scap Live After Dark area. Many thanks for joining us here tonight. Lester's Banana, what do they have, Gary, for us tonight?
Michael Porter Jr. in the 90s playoffs would still score 2 to 4 points per game.
Yeah, well, he's scoring 2 to 4 points per game basically this whole series. He had one 21-point game in this series. So, I mean, if he's if he's scoring like 6 points per game for the series, do the math. The fact that take away the 21-point game that he has, and it doesn't look good, to say the least. Let's see here. He had yes, I've got it right now. In the 5 games, he had 21 points in game 3. But if you take that away, 2 points, 8 points, 3 points, and 2 points. So 3 points or less in 3 of the 5 games in this series. So that's pretty much what he's scoring right now if you take away that one 21-point game. So I have no pushback for you on that, Lester. None of the above 101 is in. Thank you for stopping in and for sponsoring us here in the lounge. Gary, what does none of the above 101 have?
I'll bet the money in my portfolio that Jokic won't throw Michael Porter Jr. under the bus even after that vomit job. NBA not bothering to hide the rigging for WSNBN.
Well, Gary, do you know what WSNBN is?
I am not quite sure. I'm guessing it's a faux news network of some type.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Something ESPN, I guess, a fake ESPN, I guess, for rigging.
Well, we know that the NBA rigged the draft lottery, so we are certain of that much. Maybe that's some reference to that. But none of the above 101. You're undeniably spot on with your take on Nikola Jokic. This guy is just the epitome of class. He is a team player through and through. He will never throw these guys under the bus ever. He will never demand a trade. He will never demand players be moved. He is the exact opposite of many of the pampered, overbearing, and entitled players that we see, star players that we see in the NBA today. And the fact that he's the best player the NBA has to offer, and he's just going to exude this level of class and continue to do so and just stay put on this Nuggets team, it really is something to behold. And that's why I become such a fan of this guy. But none of the above 101. Thank you so much for your support. We've got Sun Valley Drive in next. Sun Valley Drive, thank you so much for coming in and supporting the stream here. Gary, what do they have?
What trades would you make to get my MVP some help? Michael Porter Jr., Murray, Brown. Would you trade for LeBron? Just kidding.
Ultimately, I don't know what the answers are to these questions. Like Michael Porter Jr., do you really, after watching this performance and seeing the limitations he has, is this the one saving grace of his contract is I believe it's an expiring deal for next year. So there is some appetite for some teams to take on to absorb expiring contracts. So maybe Michael Porter Jr., maybe. I don't really know what value Christian Brown has in the market. The thing is, he doesn't really make much money. And I think he is, look, him is like the fourth or fifth best player on a team, like isn't bad. The problem is when you're relying him to be like a third best player or something like that. I mean, quite frankly, he should be a bench player. Like him as the sixth man is elite, which I believe he was when they won the championship. So when you have him coming off the bench, now you're onto something. But when you have him as, your fourth best player, essentially, because Michael Porter Jr. is crapping in his pants, it's just hard to make that up, to make that kind of differential up when you're playing other teams that are vastly from 1 through 10, much more talented. So, and in terms of Murray, I just, again, like, do you want this guy? Do you want to give this guy $50 million a year for the next 4 seasons? Like, I just don't know ultimately if there's going to be anybody out there with an appetite to absorb any of these contracts, quite frankly. And they don't have a whole lot of trade assets to sweeten the pot and to incentivize teams to take them. So it's just a mess, Sun Valley Drive. I honestly don't know what hope there is for this roster and for Nikola Jokic moving forward, other than Jokic just demanding a trade. And like I just said a few moments ago, he's far too classy to do that. So I think it's just, this is just what you're seeing is the blueprint right here. Like, just play with all the guts and the moxie and the bravado that you can, try to string it together, muck it up, and have Jokic just steal you some games somehow in 4 straight series. Like, not a very good blueprint, but like, that's unfortunately pretty much all they're going to have for the rest of his prime. So it's just a deflating, depressing kind of night, but life and sports, as they say, are not always fair. So, but thank you, Sun Valley Drive, for coming in and for sponsoring us here. We've got D's Laughs came in. D's Laughs, I do recognize the handle. Thank you for returning here to sponsor us in Scap Live After Dark. Gary, what does D's Laughs have for us?
I've never seen Scap shook up like this. Take my stupid Canadian money. Much love to the chat.
Yeah, D's Laughs. I'm not quite 100%. I'm not quite right here. Definitely reeling. I thought, and you see, it's because the Nuggets, because they're playing so hard, that they're doing this to me. In a way, I really thought that the Nuggets were just going to get obliterated in this series. Jokic would steal one game just from his greatness, and then they would get blown off the court in 4 other games and lose in 5, and that's it. I always equate things to movies in some way. Tom Hardy, who portrays Bane in the movie The Dark Knight Rises, when Bane and Batman are having their initial fight below the Batcave, when Bruce gets his back broken in that fight, Bane gives this speech about sailors and having hope, and about how there really is no, I'm paraphrasing this speech now, but that there really is, that hope is essentially one of the most damning elements, like the most damning things to humanity, because there can be no true sorrow without hope. I myself, D's laughs, I know I might present myself as a happy-go-lucky guy, possibly on these live streams and in videos, but I myself am an eternal pessimist. I consistently think the worst, plan for the worst, anticipate the worst, and I live my life in a state of perpetual hopelessness. And I find that it's easier for me to do that because I don't get my hopes up. Therefore, I'm not let down in failure. And I went in expecting just utter failure in this series, and the Nuggets have just fought so admirably in these games, and they've been right there in these two games that now in back-to-back games, watching 2 fourth quarters, I have sat there and I've thought to myself, they are actually going to win this series. Now after they blew game 4 and the 3-1 lead, I'm like, well, it's over. They're going to lose by 40 points tonight. But they fight and claw all game, and they're up most of the game, and they're controlling the fourth quarter. They're up double digits in the fourth quarter. And I sit back and I start thinking to myself again, like, oh my God, they're going to win this series. And for a second time in like 72 hours, I've just been utterly gutted by watching them get so close only to fail. So yes, these laughs. I am shook for sure. But thank you for coming in and for sponsoring us here. I do appreciate you. We got Josh Alstrom in here, another repeat here to the Scap Live After Dark area. So many thanks to you. Gary, what does Josh have for us tonight?
He meant David Adelman. Rick Adelman was the coach from the Kings and some other teams.
And this is his kid, Gary. I don't know if you know that. This is Rick Adelman's kid. So
okay. So David Adelman is not that bad of a coach, to be honest. Been pretty impressed.
No doubt. Josh, you haven't heard me say a single bad thing about it's David, right? Now I'm reading Rick and I'm getting confused. I thought it was a risky proposition, to say the least. I thought that it was just a desperation move when it happened with 6 games left to go in the regular season. This is a guy who has 0 head coaching experience at any level outside of high school. This 43-year-old guy that became the interim coach when they fired Malone with less than a week to go. But the guy's been fantastic. He's completely altered the whole dynamic of the team, especially the way they're playing on the defensive side of the ball. And some of that is just obviously about effort, but there's no doubt that Adelman is playing a role in it. And the other guys have been playing well around Jokic, better than they had been around Malone. So I give Adelman a lot of credit here. And I think there's close to no way he's not the full-time head man moving forward. I think Kroenke would be out of his mind to not hire this guy and make him take that interim tag off of his name moving forward into the next season and give him the head spot. So yeah, great point, Josh. And many thanks again for you coming in here and for supporting us. Xavier DeGod is in now. Xavier, another repeat sponsor here in the lounge. Many thanks for joining us here tonight. Xavier, what do you have for us? Xavier, Gary, can you read that for me?
Scap, this is my top 10. 1, MJ. 2, Kareem. 3, Kobe, my favorite. 4, Magic. 5, Duncan. 6, Bill Russell. 7, Wilt. 8, LaFraud. 9, Shaq. 10, Curry or West.
Xavier, that's not a terrible looking top 10. I specifically like your top 5. And we have a lot of overlap in our top 10 ultimately. I though do have some differences, particularly though in the back half of your 5. I do not have Shaq, Curry, or West in my top 10 currently, and I have LeBron on the verge of being out of my top 10. He right now does, I think, occupy maybe, arguably, possibly my 10th spot, but not for much longer. Once Nikola Jokic plays a couple more years, I think I'll probably have him in over LeBron. But definitely I like the first half of that. And guys, I keep teasing this, and I keep not putting it out, but eventually it is going to come out, I swear. My top 10 list will be dropping. It's about a 32-minute video. It will at some point be dropping, and it's got my case, mainly actually my top 9, and then I just leave the 10 spot open, and I speculate on like 5 or 6 players that might be able to occupy that 10 spot. I make some cases for a couple guys. So stay tuned for that, obviously. And I do just want to give Altron one more shot. We've already read this one, but I just wanted to put it up again and give Altron a shout out for the big support tonight of me in the lounge of Gary and myself in the Scap Live After Dark area, and just kind of just talking more crap on MPJ, which again I might not do specifically in calling him a bum, but I'll condone it in the nature of this conversation, because he's just been absolutely terrible. I don't know how much it has to do with that shoulder or what, but I mean, you can do other things. Like he's just simply not making winning plays. He's a cardboard cutout on defense. He's a poor rebounder, and he's not making any of his outside shots. So there's no doubt that he is a substantial issue with what's ailing the Nuggets now, down in a 3-2 hole, taking their first deficit of the series and facing utter playoff elimination on Thursday night. We've got Save Onyx in next. Thank you so much for coming in and for supporting us. Gary, what do they have?
Hey, Scap, I've been watching for 2 years and love the channel. What's your favorite team?
Many thanks for watching for 2 years. That's about how long I've been on. So I appreciate you being with me from the very beginning. Like I just said, I don't really root for teams or players or anything like that most of the time. At least I haven't since Kobe left the NBA. I don't really even have a team in the NFL. That's my other favorite sport. I've been a lifelong, really avid NFL fan, and I don't really have a team there. I like the Lions there. I kind of root for them. They've been so bad for so long. Just a really dreadfully run organization, just an inept, basically 5-6 decade span. So it was, it's in the NBA, I used to root for the Lakers, not really as a Laker fan, but just as a Kobe guy. And I'm not really necessarily a Nuggets fan, but I'm admittedly a big fan of Nikola Jokic. So I, by extension, am also a big Nuggets guy, and I root for their success. So Save Onyx, I would say that I am a fan of just the Denver Nuggets at this point, which has not gone well for me the last couple of years, and I don't think it's going to go well moving forward for me either. But thank you for coming in and for supporting the channel. Gary, I believe there's something you want to say about our next super chat.
Yeah, we're gonna skip this one, Mason, just because we don't want this kind of rhetoric on the channel. But definitely, you're correct, and I know Scap would 100% agree with you, because it is ridiculous. But we don't want to put names of other platforms who are, spreading misinformation around. So we're not going to put that on screen. But Mason, we see it, and I agree with you, and I know Scap would as well, and appreciate it. So let's go down to how do you pronounce
Giuseppe DeRosa back in.
And I think I owe Giuseppe an apology, because isn't he the one that said the Pacers were going to close out the Cavs, and I told him that I thought he was wrong.
I think that was Giuseppe that asked if I still didn't believe in the Pacers, and I did really believe in the Pacers at that point. So.
But Giuseppe, is Giuseppe a Pacers fan or a Cavs fan? A Pacers fan?
I think a Pacers fan.
Okay, well, Giuseppe, I will tell you, I do think the Knicks are going to romp them. FYI.
I don't know. I think the Pacers, look, they've been counted out, disrespected. The last year, kind of their run to the Eastern Conference Finals was belittled. Because of the luck they got and that they caught in terms of injuries along the way. And, quite frankly, they've kind of caught that same luck this year. Dame Lillard was hurt much of the first round for the Milwaukee Bucks. And now the Cavaliers, many of their players were hurt throughout the course of this series. But Indiana still, though, they're capitalizing. They're playing well. I think they would have got blistered off the floor by the Celtics this time around, just like they did last year. But who knows? I think that could actually be a pretty fun and competitive series. But Anyway, Gary, what does
Yeah,
Giuseppe have?
I don't mean they're a terrible team. I just mean they shouldn't be anywhere near the championship picture, and yet they're now in the Eastern Conference Finals. So they are one of the Final Four teams. So they're approaching that championship picture, and I just don't think they are deserving of that. I don't think they should have gotten past Milwaukee had Lillard and Giannis been healthy, but we'll see. That's why the games are played. But this actually is a really fun, great question. Would you rank Larry Bird over Steph Curry?
Well, Giuseppe, I don't really have to think about that at all, Gary. It's a question. I don't know if it's a great question. I mean, I guess some might make a case for Curry, but for me, Giuseppe, yeah, Larry Bird's the easy answer as far as I'm concerned. I got Larry Bird like I think Larry Bird and Magic are kind of like co-6 and 7 spots. I think off the top of my head in my top 10, and I do not have Curry in my top 10 at all. So he's one of the guys that I would say is fringe 10 that I think I mentioned him in my top 10 that I just talked about that will be out at some point. I'm going Larry Bird, Larry Legend all day, every day over Curry. But thanks for the question, Giuseppe, and thank you.
Curry is lethal with the right pieces around him. They don't even have to be great pieces, but the right pieces. But if he doesn't have the right pieces, we saw when KD left and when Klay Thompson was injured in 2020, just how terrible the Warriors were when it was primarily Steph and Draymond. When he doesn't have those right pieces, he shrinks. He's not as good as another player could be, like Kobe, for example.
And also, I don't think Steph Curry, look, he won a unanimous league MVP that one year with 73 wins, but then he got outplayed not just by LeBron James, but by Kyrie Irving too,
right,
in the finals with a 3-1 lead. And look, I know he was hurt, but still, like he's never been the best player in the NBA in my estimation. You can make a case 1 year. The 1 year he won 73 games and was the only ever unanimous league in the MVP winner in league history. And yet that 1 year he blew a 3-1 lead, and even being hurt, like you find a way to win one more game ultimately. Right. And he got soundly outplayed by the second best player on the Cavaliers. So like, to me, Larry Bird was the best player on earth in a span of time in the 80s where Michael Jordan was in the NBA and Magic Johnson was in the NBA, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, like Dominique Wilkins, like so many great players, Moses Malone. And in the time where all of those great players were there, Julius Erving, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, Larry Bird won 3 straight league MVPs. And he, led the league in every advanced metric in some years there. So to me, look, you can look at all of the points and stuff that people score in today's era and the longevity and that they put down and the counting totals. But when I'm looking at like peak dominators, that's pretty much how I determine who are the best players in my book, in my estimation. And Larry Bird had one of the best peaks ever, certainly in my estimation, higher than Steph Curry's peak. And also Larry Bird was a better look. He wasn't an award-winning defender or anything like that. He wasn't setting the world on fire with his defense, but an underrated defender, in my opinion, and a better defender than Steph Curry. So just everything that I weigh in it and anything that is important to me, I put Steph Curry behind Larry Bird on my list. But thank you, Giuseppe. And thank you for what this is a tough one. Wabajacks. How did I do, Gary? Wabajacks, maybe? Wabajacks,
sure.
I think.
I think your guess is as good as mine.
Thank you for coming in, Wabajacks, with this sponsorship. I do appreciate you. Gary, what do they have for us tonight?
From PH. Been watching your content for over a year now. Quick detour from the main topic. Any thoughts on the impending Knicks Pacers Classic if Knicks don't implode on their closeout games?
Yeah, I think I kind of just mentioned it, Wabajacks, but I know I'm a little behind here. You sent this about an hour ago now, all of a sudden. So I hope you're still on. And I did kind of talk about this a few minutes ago. I think this is going to be a fun series. I think it could be a potentially lengthy series. I could see this one going 7 between the Knicks and Pacers. And I know everybody was really looking forward to Boston Cleveland. That was pretty much the marquee speculated matchup in the East from essentially the first month of the season on. These two teams, Boston and Cleveland, that has distanced themselves from the rest. So that was kind of the thing that everybody, the NBA, the fans, the betting installations were pretty much all eagerly awaiting, and it's going to be neither now. Barring some extreme collapse by the Knicks, as you mentioned. That would be an all-time epic choke job if the Knicks somehow do not close this game out or this series out at this point, up 3-1, but also with the devastating Tatum news. So not only do you lose Tatum, who is first-team All-NBA again for the fourth straight year, arguably your best player. Obviously, Jaylen Brown was the best player in the East Finals last year, in the NBA Finals, but for all intents and purposes, Tatum is their best player. So they lose their best player, and then just the devastation of it all, of the team. That teams are families, and to see a family member in Jason Tatum, by all intents and purposes and all accounts, a very good young kid and a great teammate, to see him hurt in such a way is just so utterly deflating and depressing, I would think, for the Celtics. So, I mean, they're ripe to be picked off now at this point. If the Knicks somehow do not close this, it will be a historic joke job at this point. But Wabajacks, thanks again for coming in. I appreciate it. And yes, of course, we've already touched on this from Altron, but another shout out to Altron for giving us so much tonight. Really, really generous donations from Altron, and we do appreciate that very much. So shout out to you. And again, the antithesis of a shout out, the reverse anti-shout out to the bum earth scrubs that were running the Denver Nuggets, that still are, for Josh Kroenke, the owner. Luckily, he at least cut bait with Calvin Booth, threw his ass under the bus as far as I'm concerned, because Kroenke is every bit as negligible as Booth. He's every bit as much to blame for doing this to Nikola Jokic. So it is, though, as they say, as I've been saying tonight, it is what it is. But thank you, Altron, for coming in here. I appreciate it. Steph is in. Steph, what does Steph have? Welcome in, Steph. I know. Thank you for your continued support of me and the channel. You've been here for a very long time, not just on these live streams, which have not been going on for a long time, but on the video. So, Gary, what does Steph have for us tonight?
I hate KD for not getting Russ a ring. That bum.
Yeah, it stinks. I mean, Russell Westbrook does not necessarily always make winning plays. He's not a very efficient player. He makes a lot of mistakes. He had some key turnovers tonight, some terrible looking airball shots that were wide open. And those are just things that you deal with Russ, because he does play so hard. He does pour so much of himself into these games, and he just gives it all on both sides of the ball. I like Russ, even maybe costing the Nuggets in some degree in this series. He was big in the Clippers series, and I ultimately can't begrudge guys that just try hard and give it all, and Russ does that in spades. So he's got the heart and he's got the fight. It doesn't always result in winning play. So anyway, it would have been so neat to see Russ get a ring this year and get it with Nikola Jokic. When everybody, Nikola Jokic, basically, it was his idea to bring Russ on this year, and everybody made a joke of it, made fun of Jokic for it, and was clowning Russ that addition all year. So it would have been really neat to see him finally get over the hump with the difficult things that Russ has dealt with in the past over the last few years, basically since that stopped with the Lakers in 2020. It would have been a really cool thing to see him finally get that championship and to do it with Jokic. But unfortunately, that it's just not going to be. And KD, of course, does have 2 rings because he did sell out like a loser that he is, and crawled to a super team and just snatched 2 meaningless rings. So yeah, KD, I'm not KD's biggest fan. I know the Nuggets probably will explore some kind of package for him in the offseason. I certainly hope that doesn't come to any kind of fruition. But yeah, thanks to you, Steph, and welcome in Erg. Erg is in for the sponsorship here. Thank you so much for coming in. And what does Erg have for us, Gary?
You're giving up too soon on the Nuggets. Jokic cracked the OKC defensive scheme that frustrated him the last 3 games. No chance of Nuggets in 7, or let me ask, any chance of the Nuggets getting to game 7?
I mean, there's a remote possibility that they can find a way somehow. These are just such crushing fucking. Sorry, I don't like to curse, and I try not to. It's very rare that I do, but these are just so disheartening. The way they're losing these games, they're just so utterly crushing. To have these games right there, and particularly tonight's game. I mean, game 4 was what it was. That was an ugly game by both teams. The Nuggets did have the 6-point lead at the end of the third, but you didn't really necessarily get the sense that they had control of it. The game tonight, they utterly controlled that game for most of the entire game. They had it in the fourth quarter, and to not get it and to blow it 2 times in a row, and to only have less than 48 hours again to get over these things, to try to get over it a second time in a row now, and to try to muster. I just don't see any way that they can get it back. But of course, there's a hope. Like Nikola Jokic is so great. If he comes out and has an applicable game, if he has a similar game to what he did tonight, which, sure, just go out and score 44 points on like 71% true shooting percentage, and have like 17 rebounds in 44 minutes. Sure, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Just go ahead and do that. But if he does do that again in game 6, I think the role players will show up a little bit more than they did in tonight's game on the road. So sure, if he can do that, like, okay, maybe they get it back to a game 7, but no chance that the Nuggets can win that game, that 7th game. There's just no chance. They needed to find a way to a 3-2 series lead to close it out in 6. They had 2 golden opportunities. They could have went up 3-1 on Sunday, blew it. So it was 2-2. Then I thought it was over after that. They could have then looked like they should have gone up 3-2 in tonight's game, blew it. And it just, they cannot win 2 games in a row. They haven't won 2 games in a row against this team all series, and they can't do it in running game 6 and game 7 atmospheres on the road. So no, Erg, it is, I said after they blew Sunday's game, I said 1% chance to win the series after they blew game 4 on Sunday. At this point, I'm willing to go ahead and declare it's completely over. It's a 0. There is no chance.
Zero.
It's a 0. There is no chance.
0.
It's a 0. I give them a 5% chance to get it into a 7th game. It's a 0 that they can
Didn't
win.
you say it was 0% chance they were going to win game 7 against the Clippers?
I don't know about that, Gary. But I
know you didn't. You gave them 20%. You did. Okay. It sounded like you were saying 0, but you did. You did give them 20%, because I thought it was ridiculous to think that you were so confident the Clippers are going to win game 7. And I'm not saying they're going to win this series, but I'm saying it's not 0% chance. As long as Jokic is playing, it's not 0. It's very unlikely. You could say 2, but not 0. 0 means it's absolutely impossible. What if SGA breaks his leg and God forbid, I hope that doesn't happen.
Well, I'm not going to get into injury stuff. I mean, yes,
I'm saying 0. It's not 0%.
But let's assuming that no players go out with some substantial injury, it's a 0.
And even
there's just no way, and especially because every passing game is more strain on the Nuggets. Like every passing game is more mounting minutes on them that the Thunder don't have, because the Thunder got through their first round series in 4. The Nuggets needed 7. They only got 1 day off before this series started.
The Thunder had a rotation.
The Thunder had a full week off before this series began. The Nuggets had 1 day, and they've had only 1 day in between every game in this series. And they're playing in the 40s, most of the starters that matter, because they can't sit out anytime because they're losing so much when they go to the bench. So every game is mounting more and more and more, and the strain is more and more pronounced when you get into the fourth quarter. So maybe they're in the fourth quarters next game and they blow it again. Or maybe they get it to a game 7 and they're in the fourth quarter in game 7, but they can't close it. Like there's no way they can. There's just no way. Like if Michael Porter Jr. pulls some 25-point game out of his ass in one of these games, do you see that coming? I sure don't. So I would
don't,
say,
but I'm not giving it 0% chance. I'd give it like a 5% chance, which is very low, but it's not impossible. This isn't. This OKC has a potential to be a dynasty, but they're still inexperienced. They haven't even been to a finals yet. I suspect they probably will this year, but I'm saying
so much
it's
better,
not
though,
like
Gary.
this is an ironclad juggernaut so far. There's still a bunch of young pups. So, and Denver has a lot more experience, especially with Jokic. So that's why I'm saying it's not 0%.
They're just so much better, though. The margin for error is so much higher for them. Like the Nuggets have no margin for error. The Nuggets, like I said, have been playing their C. They've been playing their C game, and they're still up 3-2. Like it's just really disheartening to see how much better they are than Denver. But
it's the deeper rotation that's really coming through as well. Yeah.
But thank you, Erg. Good question, and I hope I'm wrong. Of course, we've got Franco the Italian in. Franco, a regular here in the Scalp Live After Dark Lounge. So welcome back in, Franco. I appreciate you. Gary, what does Franco have for us?
Morning, guys. Feel your pain. Jokic only winning one chip is a travesty. Generational talent in human being. Apply for GM, Scap, or Gary.
I think it's a little too late. I think had I gone in as GM 2 years ago when they put Calvin Booth in, I think there might have been some hope. But no, I don't know if any GM can dig out of the rubble that Calvin Booth has left. At whoever follows his feet. I don't know, but I agree, Franco. It is a sad day. I think I'm feeling very sorrow filled at this point. So yeah, it is. I hate to see a great player, such a great talent, give it all like this, not really have the pieces around, and just come up short in these back-to-back playoffs. And now the league around them is just getting much better. The Spurs, like I keep saying, they're a budding super team coming, and this Thunder team is just going to keep getting better, and better. So these last 2 years are probably the last and only two good chances that Jokic is going to have, because he ain't leaving Denver. You can just go ahead and book that. I think this guy's going to end his career in Denver, and he's probably honestly never going to play with a single all-star player for his entire career, which is crazy to think about, but true. So just got to salute him for the effort, and hope he finds a way to pull a miracle somewhere along the line, but it ain't going to be this year. But thank you, Franco, for coming in, for supporting us, and for the kind words. I do appreciate you. We got Vegas 96 in. Gary, what does Vegas have for us?
We have listened to players colluding with others for a super team hurting the NBA integrity. When are we going to acknowledge that GMs can ruin teams such as Dallas and Denver and Lakers? Too many firsts.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. It's hard because I don't like it. It's a catch-22 because I don't like to see great players primes wasted by inept, bumbling morons in the front office. So, like, I don't necessarily begrudge guys for taking their destiny into their own hands and building their own teams. But also, I don't want to see them building unbeatable super teams either. So there's a fine line between it. I think it's like Michael Jordan, who didn't leave, who just waited and finally got his all-star in Pippen. Kobe Bryant, who didn't leave and just waited through the crap that he had for like 2 or 3 years after Shaq left, got Pau Gasol. Like, I'm just still waiting for Nikola Jokic to have that one piece. Jamal Murray plays like it from time to time. There's just not enough on this team ultimately, though. Murray played well enough tonight. Murray and Jokic played well enough tonight to win. There's no doubt about it. Again, they had 72 points between the two of them, but their team only scored 105. So the two of them scored 72 of the 105. And if you remove those two, who, look, Murray didn't even shoot well, 10 of 27. As a team, they shot just 41%. The Thunder, meanwhile, shot 50%. Jokic shot 17 of 25. So you do the math. If you remove Jokic from the mix, who shot 17 of 25, no one else on the team shot over 50%, and they were drastically under 40% as a team minus Jokic. So, it just is what it is, just not enough, unfortunately. And yeah, you got to blame that on the GM, to Vegas 96's point. But thank you, Vegas 96, for coming in and for sponsoring us. We've got Samson, the current, in next. What does Samson have for us, Gary?
Jokic should start a 1-on-5 league and never lose.
Yeah, he's been playing a lot of one on many players this round so far. And, kudos and credit to the Oklahoma City Thunder. They've primarily, with those 2 or 3 guy fronts that they've been throwing at him, have primarily gotten the better of him. But in games, definitely tonight and in game 1, he was fantastic. He was fantastic tonight. Did look like he kind of figured something out, or maybe Adelman figured something out, some way to kind of loosen him up, get him in good situations, good positions, where he can neutralize the advantage of the Thunder's defense. But like when you just get nothing else other than Murray, who was 10 of 27 tonight and faded in the 4th. But again, I'm not going to blame Murray. He was massive tonight. He played 42 minutes. That's going to happen when you're playing these advanced minutes. And he's playing well, and he's playing as well as can be anticipated for him on defense too. Like I'm not going to sit here and criticize Jamal Murray for tonight, but 10 of 27, not good. He missed a bunch of shots in the 4th, and they all did ultimately. They just didn't have enough. No one really was there in the 4th. Jokic 13 of the 19 in the 4th, and it just wasn't good enough tonight ultimately. But thank you. Thank you, Samson, for coming in and for the sponsorship. We got Giuseppe DeRosa back in. What does Giuseppe have for us?
Giuseppe, did Jordan have harder competition than Bron and Kobe?
Good question. Good question, Giuseppe. I would say no. Jordan did not have harder competition than Kobe. He did have harder competition than LeBron for sure. Michael Jordan, by percentage, played more 50 and 60 win opponents in the playoffs than did LeBron James. And he played just about as many all NBA caliber performers per team as LeBron. So, but Jordan is much better against those upper echelon teams. I believe he was like a 70% win percentage against 50 and 60 win teams, whereas LeBron obviously is just flirting around 55% against those level of teams. Kobe, though, Giuseppe, in case you don't know, Kobe faced the hardest competition in NBA history. It's not close. He played the most 50 and 60 plus win teams in league history. Again, it's not close. He beat more 50 and 60 win teams than anyone in league history. It's not close. It's insane the percentage of teams that he faced that won at least 50 games throughout his playoff career. It's like 80% or something like that. 80% of the competition that Kobe faced in any stage of his playoff runs were at least a 50-win opponent. It's just insane how many good teams that guy faced throughout the course of his career. There have been 5 teams in NBA history that have played 4 50-plus win teams in a single NBA playoff run. 5. The Dallas Mavericks did it last year. The Houston Rockets did it in 95. Then Kobe and Shaq did it twice, and Powell and Kobe did it once. I'm sorry, Powell and Kobe did it twice. Shaq and Kobe did it once. So 3 of the 5 teams that have had the displeasure of playing 50-plus win teams in 4 straight rounds to get into a finals, 3 of the 5 teams that did it were Kobe Bryant teams, and he actually won 2 of those 5 playoff runs. So no one, not even the GOAT, Michael Jordan, had it harder than Kobe Bryant. The GOAT did have it harder than LeBron, though. Great question, Giuseppe. Actually, I'm going to hold on. We do have CPMYR who's back in. I will be right back up here. But I see that this guy, Altreon or whatever, is just, it's unbelievable. I don't know who this person is, but Altreon, if you want to be like an investor or something, like, let me know, because you have just been so kind and generous tonight, and you obviously have the funds to spread around here on the SCAP Live After Dark. Another outrageous sponsorship drop coming from Altreon. Gary, what is the question associated with this one?
Just have one more question. Well, feel free to ask multiple more questions if you like. Thank you for that donation, by the way. Do you think the NBA rigged the draft lottery to make up to the Mavs for making the Lakers relevant for the next few years and thus save them from their self-inflicting ratings catastrophe?
There's no doubt about it, Altron. And if you are new, by the way, to just the Scap Attack experience here, I've really just started doing these lives like maybe 2 weeks ago. Primarily, I'm a video-based platform, and I have about 450 videos up over the last 2 years now, including one yesterday that I published around 8 or 9 p.m. at night. It's doing very well. I think it's got like 120,000 views, so it should be easy for you to find. It is called The NBA Just Rigged the Draft Lottery. And in it, I outline my hypothesis. It's a short video. It's only about 6.5 minutes, but I highlight my hypothesis about the back alley deal that I believe now, in hindsight, after seeing it all play out, was authored between Adam Silver and the Dallas Mavericks to get them to trade Luka Doncic to LeBron James to enhance the probability of LeBron making a deep playoff run, to help LeBron maybe get ring number 5, to make him more of an important theme for the NBA, and plus the ratings that LeBron carries with him. LeBron also being on the Lakers, who is in and of their own right a ratings darling. The LA Lakers, one of the biggest markets in the United States of America, one of the biggest basketball markets there is in the world. So simultaneously, not only getting your golden goose LeBron, but the Lakers as deep as they could get into the playoffs, maybe even getting them into the NBA Finals, where they could potentially play Boston. What a ratings boom that would be for the NBA. How great would that be for Adam Silver? The only thing that didn't make any sense when that deal was made in February was, what did the Dallas Mavericks get out of that? Because they only get 32-year-old injury-prone Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and one single first-round pick. Like, that wasn't adding up. That conspiracy theory wasn't working out until last night, until the Dallas Mavericks, with 1.8% chance of winning that draft lottery, somehow defy all odds and get the number 1 overall pick this year in a year that has Cooper Flagg coming out, who is, look, in the handful of all of the top recruits that we've seen come into the NBA over the last quarter of a century since the year 2000. I put him in the same breath as LeBron James, Luka Doncic, Victor Wembanyama, these people that I've heard about for years and years. I've been hearing about Cooper Flagg since he was like 12 or 13 years old. I've been hearing about him throughout the summer when he went to Vegas and held his own in that select game against the U.S. Dream Team over this summer, and then becoming just the 3rd freshman to win the National Player of the Year this year. This kid is the real deal on the court and off from a marketability standpoint. And that was the deal ultimately. The NBA would get him to Dallas. So Altron, thank you so much for everything you've given us here tonight. And to answer your question, yes, I do believe that the NBA rigged the hell out of that draft lottery last night. So good question as well. Now we're coming back in. We're getting back to the top here, which I had MYCPR, I believe. This is the one that we just focused on. And CPMYR is also in with multiple super chats here tonight for us as well. So CPMYR, many thanks to you for your continued support and love for me and the channel. I do appreciate you. What does CPMYR have this time, Gary?
Now, my opinion, that bum king is just a demon in disguise.
Yeah, LeBron, I mean, I don't know. We're arguing semantics here. I don't know if he's an actual real life demon, but if we're talking about the self-proclaimed king, the fraud king himself, LeBron James, he is no doubt the destroyer of the NBA. What was it? Again, big movie guy here. I usually compare everything to movies. Gozer the Destroyer or whatever that comes to destroy New York at the end of Ghostbusters. And it said, Gozer says like choose your like destructor or whatever, and Ray, unbeknownst to the rest of the group, he can't help himself but to think of the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, and it becomes the Stay Puft that comes as the form of the destroyer, right? Well, LeBron James is the form of the destroyer of the NBA. Like he authored this modern day, this credo, if you will, the manifesto, the player empowerment era, and it has resulted in the destruction of the NBA. And we're still trying to dig out of it. That's why I've been supporting players like Giannis Antetokounmpo and Nikola Jokic, because they've been doing it the right way their whole careers, staying in these small markets and just fighting with less than what other people have around them, admirably so. And it looks like Giannis's quest in that to that point is going to come to an end this summer. I think he is going to unfortunately bail and go join ship now on some super team, it looks like. And now Nikola Jokic will be the last man standing, the last bastion, the last honorable player, the last honorable great player left in the NBA. Of course, it will get him nothing other than heartache, more losses, and more failures. But sometimes doing the right thing is hard, and making the right moves and being a man of character and commitment is not necessarily always the easiest thing to do in this world. And unfortunately, Nikola Jokic is going to hold to his honor and be that principled person. And it's just going to get him criticism. It's going to get him people saying he can't win. He can't do it. He can't close the games. He can't win championships. Like, it's just going to get him nothing but criticism. But he's tough and he's great, and he can stand up and he can take it, and he'll have people like me to defend him to my last breath. So thank you, CPMYR. I do appreciate you. We got Juan Sanchez in next. Gary, what does Juan have for us? Juan, thank you for coming in here and for supporting the channel.
So we're not sure if LeBron is a demon, but to wrap up, I think we can all agree that he is definitely a narcissist. So, which leads us to Juan Sanchez here. LeBron lost against Dwight Howard's Magic too, right? Which Kobe just wrapped up in 5 easily.
Yeah, I think that's the one right there. Like that Orlando Magic loss. It really, I think you can kind of criticize LeBron for more than any of the other ones early on in his career, I should say. Look, I've been critical of LeBron James primarily in those losses because he lost to 2 teams that Kobe beat with, to me, similar supporting casts. Like, I know you've got the name and Pau Gasol on that team, but I think when you look at, and I've done videos on this, so don't tell me that I'm making this up. Like the supporting rosters that Kobe had in 09, 08, 9, and 10 or whatever, that he went to the 3 titles with and won back-to-back, were similar to what LeBron was working with. LeBron failed against those teams. Kobe won. That my criticisms of LeBron in that capacity, in that light, is really just to uplift Kobe Bryant and to say Kobe doesn't get enough credit. But like, there's no shame in LeBron. LeBron, to some degree, back with Cleveland, I know this is going to shock the viewers here and the listeners, but LeBron in those Cleveland years, to some degree, was doing what Jokic is doing now. He was floor rising so much, and I mean, winning the number 1 seeds in that NBA. Obviously, the Eastern Conference was trash, and Jokic is in the harder conference now in the West. But you know, for LeBron to get the 1 seeds overall in those playoffs those 2 years, like that was a great floor rising job by him. Probably made some of those players look better than they actually were, but ultimately he did fail. He was getting the MVPs. People were saying he was better than Kobe Bryant, and Kobe Bryant was beating those teams with similar supporting casts. Then LeBron, instead of being a man like Nikola Jokic, instead of being that principled man of honor that I just talked about, and standing his ground and winning a championship with Cleveland like Nikola Jokic did do in 2023, LeBron James, like a coward loser, tucked his tail and crawled on his hands and knees like a little bitch out of town and begged Dwayne Wade, and then recruited Chris Bosh, and then stole every ring he's had. Every ring he has on his finger, a cheap stolen one. So that's pretty much where I really criticized LeBron James, not necessarily for the ways he was losing early on in his career, because I think he was actually playing defense back then. And he was doing it with less than other teams had around them at that time. So, but just the way he responded to the failures was just showed just a minuscule level of character. So that's pretty much why I criticized LeBron for his time there, and why I criticized him in the aftermath with all the decisions he has made since. But Juan, great point. Yes, he did lose to Dwight Howard, and thank you for the super chat. I do thank you very much. And we have Cliff in next. Cliff, thank you so much as well for coming in here and supporting us. Gary, what does Cliff have tonight for us?
Scap, I want to thank you for your coverage of Jokic over the last year or so. He's been great to watch, and sad he'll never get the appreciation he deserves. He truly broke the mold.
Yeah, it is. It's just a bummer because, like, I keep saying, like, if I defend him and say, like, look, he just doesn't have the squad, he just doesn't have the pieces, then I obviously just sound like an apologist, because I criticize other players, other people that fail, and these games are winnable. But, like, ultimately, like, he's going into year 11 next year again, and he's never played with a single All-Star, a single All-NBA caliber player, a single All-NBA defensive caliber player, not ever. And he's likely going to sign an extension this summer. And with the way they're capped out right now, the structure of the contracts they have on the books, it's likely never going to happen for him. So I'm just not going to sit here and criticize this guy who's absorbing double and triple coverages every single time down the floor against this historically great defense and still putting up like 28, 15, and 5 a game, like, and getting them to a point in these fourth quarters against this much better team where they're still in these games somehow and have a chance. Like, they just don't, unfortunately, have enough. But yeah, I think the guy is so individually great. He's kind of a Hakeem Olajuwon type player to me, where I'm gonna have him somewhere in my top 10 all time. Even if he only has one championship. So that's just the way it's going to be. I know it's going to be a difficult case for me to make. It's going to be an uphill battle for me for the next, 10, 15 years as I'm making these cases. But Nikola Jokic, I think ultimately I will have him as a top 10 all-time player, no matter what. So, Cliff, thank you for sticking around with me and for listening to what I have to say about Jokic and for supporting the channel. We've got Giuseppe back in. Giuseppe with another super chat, and he's got a message of hope for me. Gary, what does Giuseppe have?
I'm in agreement. Scap, it's not over yet. Have faith.
Giuseppe, like I said in my little earlier monologue about just living my life in an eternal state of hopelessness and depression and anticipating the Lord. Listen, I can't get my hopes. If my hopes aren't up, then I can't be crushed. There will be less of a crushing aspect of these things if I don't really actually have any faith. So like that's why I've positioned myself and why I have this mindset and outlook. So I think now more than ever, I need to just believe that it's over, and I'll be just pleasantly surprised if somehow they win it. I think a win next game in game 6 will mean very little. Ultimately, I won't get really any kind of a hope at all if they win that somehow. I don't think they will. If they do, though, they're really just delaying the inevitable till Sunday when they can probably lose by like 40 points in that game 7. But Giuseppe, thank you for coming back in, and thank you for trying to be some kind of a source of positivity for me on this very bleak and sorrow-filled night. Next in, we have Bands Nabs. We got Bands Nabs in, and they are a repeat sponsor as well. So, Gary, what does Bands Nabs have for us tonight?
East is looking as is the king coming home again. That's a good point. The East is looking weak. Here comes LeBron.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I think probably there is some potential for maybe a return of the king, so to speak, a return of the fraud king, if you will, to the East. As the East looks like it's imploding, maybe he might. Yeah, maybe we talked about this last night. Mentioned it. Maybe Cleveland. Cleveland, this is for you. Maybe they're going to come back. Cleveland's going to come back in to the mix, possibly. Who knows? Maybe Cleveland will think, hey, we're one piece off. We need like a veteran leader potentially. Although I think Donovan Mitchell is all they need there in terms of veteran leadership and savvy know-how in the playoffs. He just wasn't healthy in these last 2 games, and they didn't have a healthy team around him in the first part of the series when he was. So, but we'll see. I think LeBron ultimately doesn't even care about winning anymore. I think he's more than content to just sit on his little perch in Hollywood with his kid playing beside him and play out these last couple years. So I don't see it happening, but hey, I have been wrong before. We've got Che in now. Many thanks to you for joining us. And what is the question or comment here, Gary, from Che? And thank you, Che, for your sponsorship request or your sponsorship here in the lounge.
Bird has to be in most top 10s. Clutch trash talker. Yeah, I agree.
Couldn't disagree. I wouldn't disagree. We talked about Bird earlier. If you are just joining us, we are stretching a little long here on the SCAP Live After Dark session tonight, but you guys have been so generous with the donations, and like I've said it before, I will never sign out of here as long as I see a super chat come in, because quite frankly, it's just shocking to me that you guys are supporting me in this way. It is definitely a humbling thing to come on here and get this kind of support from you guys, and I do really appreciate you guys, and I'm not gonna leave one left behind. I'm gonna recognize everyone and answer everyone. And with that said, Gary, we do have one coming up that you want me to skip, but I won't. That one will be up. That one will be up after Giuseppe, who's back in. Giuseppe, Gary, looks like Giuseppe. Poor Giuseppe here is a Heat fan.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Giuseppe, for not jumping on the Cavs or the Pacers or Celtics or Knicks bandwagon. He's a faithful. This is very rare because most, as you know, Florida fans tend to be bandwagon front runners. This guy is sticking to his team. That's why it was so funny at Game 6 in the 2013 finals. Remember the video footage of all the Heat fans that left the arena? And then when the Heat started coming back, they were all banging on the door to get back in. And Chris Bosh said after the game, hey, don't even come for Game 7. And I was in agreement with Bosh because Miami fans tend to be so bandwagony. So props to Giuseppe for being a faithful Miami Heat fan. And hopefully, the tide turns for you guys.
Yeah, and Giuseppe, condolences to you because it doesn't look like Miami is going to be a contender anytime soon. But who knows? Pat Riley, I mean, it might be time for him to move on to the next phase of his life, whatever his next phase of that life's work might be. But they've been a pretty stellar run organization by and large for the last, like 15 years. So who knows what's in store for them, but not looking good right now, obviously. We'll see what the offseason has in store for them. Hopefully, I'm rooting for Nikola Jokic and Giannis to go to Miami. Obviously, a 0% chance of that happening. But hey, a boy can dream, can't they? And then Gary, our next super actually
right.
is yes, Gary is very protective of the messaging here. He's very good at what he does. Gary, the moderator, he keeps things respectful here at all times. And I'm fully behind him in the sense that I don't want controversial things per se. Like I don't want like racial elements brought up or any kind of slurs or anything like that.
Identity,
I don't really
politics,
political things generally I want to stay away from. And I myself, I let a curse word slip tonight that I regret. And like I said, I go out of my way to not do those kinds of things here. And I hold you guys to that same standard. But if someone wants to just talk some shit on me and badmouth me, but it's done in a semi-respectful way and that there's no real slurs going on with it, I don't mind if I'll show it. So I'll put this one up, Gary. What is this? What does DSP Historical Society have for $5? Thank you, DSP Historical Society. Even though you're not my biggest fan, Gary, go ahead and read that one.
It was bad enough when you put your face in your videos. We don't need to see it, but now it's on your channel header. Unsubbed. You ain't that dude.
DSP Historical Society, thank you for giving me $5 for us to read that. Obviously, unsubbing and hating on me, but still giving me a donation. So that doesn't really quite add up. But thank you for supporting the channel, even though you are, I guess, unsubbing the channel. Of course, I hate to see you go, but I have a lot of support coming in here, especially in these last couple weeks. The channel is growing exponentially right now, and I'm trying to find a way. I've been trying to find a way for like a year to put out more work, to put out more volume, to get more things out, more messaging, more videos, more whatever, more takes out there. And one of the ways that is I have found that is the easiest is by putting myself out there, by showing myself, by being on camera more. It's just easier for me to do these videos, to edit these videos and so forth. And as for the live streams, I just like connecting with you guys. And this has been a really cool. Gary, the moderator, has been trying to get me to do this for a year now. I've been giving pushback. And I regret the fact that it's taken me so long to get on here, because I just ultimately love connecting with you guys and just talking shit about sports. So DSP Historical Society, sorry to see you go. Thanks for your support on the way out. And I'm sure we'll get somebody swiftly to replace you on the subs moving forward. Next in, we have Ha Tayo from Europe, it looks like. So many thanks for joining us here in the SCAP Live After Dark. We're, Gary, now ticking over 2:30 a.m. On the East Coast in the US of A, which is where I'm at, where we are actually. So getting late. We're nearing that 2.5 hour mark, but we still have 300 people listening here, and we still have a couple more of these super chats to get to. And like I said, I will never leave as long as I see one out there. So what does Ha Tayo have for us, Gary?
Ha Tayo, how is it going over in Europe? I am the European that started watching the NBA about 4 months ago when Jokic threw that Hail Mary shot against the Kings. Let's hope they win this. I'm with you, Ha Tayo. Unfortunately, SCAP gives them 0% chance and says it's impossible.
It's a zero. It's a zero. I do know the shot. It was Jokic had a couple of those this year. Actually, he had a couple of those where he just catch and flings a full court and puts it in at the buzzer, and he does it all the time. Like that's another thing about it. People say he stat pads or cares about stats. Like nonsense. This guy literally at the end of virtually every single quarter throws like a Hail Mary shot that has 1% chance to go in. Like he basically takes like 3 to 4 dead shots every game to destroy his shooting percentage. He doesn't care about that shit. This guy is an ultimate professional, a true winner, and he just leaves it all out there. What's that?
And a great teammate.
Great teammate. Great teammate. But I know the Sacramento shot you're talking about, and yes, I guess all of you can hope that they win. Like I said, I've given in to the hope. I found the positivity the last 2 fourth quarters, only to absolutely rip my heart out. So I've nestled back into my perpetual state of hopelessness where I generally reside and live in. So that's back to where I'm at, and it's a zero. So that's my take on it all. But yes, hopefully you guys will not lose your faith and your hope because quite frankly, I think you'll live longer. I put way too much strain and stress on myself by living in this state of hopelessness. I'm trying to get more positive, but it's hard when I face things like this game tonight. But thank you, Ha Tayo. Hello in Europe, and welcome back in Lester's Banana, who is back in referencing a drop I made in my last video, I think, about that rigged draft lottery. What does Lester's Banana have for us, Gary?
Adam Nasratu blanked LeBron James and the life out of the NBA.
Gary, yeah, I don't know if that was actually like an X-rated kind of a reference, or if he's referring to the fact that Adam Silver, aka Commissioner Nosferatu, is in fact a vampire, and maybe that's a little reference, or maybe a little double entendre or whatever, as the saying goes. But yes, I agree. If LeBron James was the king, the king destroyer, which ultimately led to the NBA's destruction, Adam Silver was the one that appointed this king. So there's no doubt that he empowered him and has helped him and plays a major role, so a very large supporting role in the demise of the NBA. So I think LeBron needs to get the hell out of the NBA ultimately, and I think Adam Silver should be swiftly behind him. But Lester's Banana, thank you so much for your repeated sponsorships tonight. We've got Jason Price in. What does Jason Price have for us, Gary?
Clips of Kobe, Dom Braun at All-Star. Any backstory?
So clips of Kobe, is this just like
Is
clips
that
of Kobe?
dominating Braun?
I think maybe clips of Kobe
Dominating
dominating
LeBron?
LeBron at the All-Star. Any backstory? I mean, he's talking about the year. I think LeBron was the league MVP that year, maybe around 27, 28 years old. Kobe Bryant was like 33, 34. It might have been the year he ruptured the Achilles ultimately at the end of the season, if not just the year before that. And, you know, Kobe, who was allegedly beyond his prime at that point, and LeBron, who was allegedly the best player in the NBA. That was a close All-Star game, back and forth going into the fourth quarter. I think it was like a one possession game going into the fourth quarter. Kobe Bryant did not let LeBron James score in that quarter. He picked him up full court the whole quarter. Did not. I don't even know if he got really a shot off in that quarter. Kobe absolutely dominated him. Turned him over like 3 or 4 times in the fourth, blocked him twice. And actually, LeBron did score at the very end of the game. I think he hit a meaningless free throw with the game already over with like under a minute to go. And when he was on the free throw line, Kobe was, you know, sauntering back and forth at half court with that smug Mamba look on his face. And he was just yelling at the scorer's table, the guys that were broadcasting the game. He can't score on me. Like just talking absolute shit on LeBron and denigrating him and the pathetic will that he has, that you just let Kobe shut you down, LeBron, as an alleged league MVP and the best player in the NBA. This guy in his like 17th season just absolutely snatched his will. But again, that was nothing new. We saw what Kobe did to him in that blue-white game on the Vegas campus before that 2008 Redeem Team run. But that, as they say, is likely a story for another night, as it is getting kind of late. But we will continue to work our way through these supers. Thank you, though, Jason Price. Thank you very much for the question, and thank you for the
real quick. Let me just throw in something. I just wanted to add. I so much hate the LeBron is such a coward. Won't even enter the slam dunk contest. And Kobe is going at LeBron. And as you can see, LeBron, he shrunk. He shied away from the challenge. But then look at Kyrie Irving, who's not as good as Kobe, but came in with that Mamba mentality his rookie year, telling Kobe, you can't beat me. And Kobe's laughing at him. And what do? They bring the best out in each other, and they become like best friends. Kyrie loves Kobe, because that is ultimately the heart of a champion, what you're supposed to do. Even if you're not going to win, you still want to go at somebody and try. And LeBron, when somebody really came at him and started beating him, he just shrunk back like a little coward. And that's the difference in mentality. And someone like Kyrie Irving, who's not as talented as LeBron, but he has a bigger heart than LeBron. So I just wanted to throw that out. I love the friendship, the relationship and dynamic that Kyrie Irving and Kobe Bryant had.
Yeah, it's a great point. And Kyrie was obviously fancies himself a disciple of Kobe Bryant. When Kyrie tore the ACL this year in that game and he made the 2 free throws, and then he said in an interview afterwards, he would have been so pissed at himself if he missed those free throws. Right. And that would have been the hardest part of it all in the injury, is if he had missed those free throws, and he would have lamented it all off season long. And he said, if you know, you know. That was just one more homage, shout out to the great late Kobe Bryant. So yeah, great point, Gary. And we've got another one in here from Lightning Strikes. Thank you very much for your kind support here of us in the channel. Gary, what does Lightning Strikes have for us?
Hi, Scap. Thoughts on, will the Mavs keep the draft pick or make a trade for Giannis?
Yeah, great question, Lightning Strikes, and great point. I did kind of address this. Actually, no, I did not address this on the video, but I think I was on. Oh yeah, I was on Jason Whitlock's show today, and we talked about it. Look, if we are to believe what Nico Harrison said in the aftermath of making the Luka trade, if we are to believe him and take him at his word, that he thinks that their window is right now and he wants to maximize this team's potential to win right now, then they should absolutely trade that pick, because Cooper Flagg, who's like 18 years old, well, he's not a win now necessarily proposition of player. An 18-year-old Cooper Flagg doesn't fit the timeline of a 32-year-old Anthony Davis and Kyrie Irving that's into his 30s now. So I think it makes all the sense in the world to package that number 1 overall pick and trade it to the Milwaukee Bucks and bring in Giannis, who's going to be 31 next year. You'll pair 31-year-old Giannis with 32-year-old Anthony Davis, and whenever Kyrie Irving gets back, 30-something Kyrie Irving, and I think that is a great fit. That's a great package there. 2 elite defenders in Anthony Davis, 2 long, athletic, elite defenders in Davis and Giannis, 2 guys that could score in any which way for you. Kyrie leading that offense. That would make all the sense in the world. So if we are to believe the BS that Nico Harrison was peddling after that trade, then yes, 100%. Making that trade for Giannis makes all the sense in the world. But come on, that wasn't really what was going on. We now know that there was a back alley deal made between Nico Harrison and Commissioner Nosferatu Adam Silver that they were going to trade Luka to LeBron and to the Lakers to help with ratings for the rest of this year and probably next year as well as the plan. And then in turn, the Mavericks were going to take back this generational talent in Cooper Flagg. So I do not believe Nico Harrison as far as I could throw him. And I do not believe the BS that he was peddling after he made that trade. Therefore, I do not believe that they're going to trade that pick. And I think that Cooper Flagg will be a Dallas Maverick. But let's wait and see. Maybe Nico Harrison will prove me wrong, and they will amass the best team for right now, which would be Giannis, Davis, and Kyrie Irving. I wouldn't hold my breath for that, though, lightning strikes. But thank you for the support. And we've got Mike Ross in. Mike Ross, what does Mike have for us, Gary? Thank you, Mike, for coming in and for sponsoring us tonight.
Scap, we love the content, man. Keep it up. Also, where do you see Giannis going this summer?
Thank you for the support, Mike. I greatly appreciate you for being out here for me. And where do I see Giannis going? We've been talking about Giannis a bit throughout the night. I thought going into the draft lottery, Houston made the most sense. They have a combination of good young assets and a lot of lottery assets as well, a lot of draft assets. So to me, they could have traded away some of those assets, retained a really good team, a championship core to surround Giannis with, and you get rid of those first round picks. But whatever, you're not building for the future. You're trying to win championships now. So I really did think that Houston made the most sense going into the draft lottery. Maybe Oklahoma City as well, if Oklahoma City something happened, some unusual, unforeseen event happened to stop them from winning this year. The Nuggets have had every chance to do that in the last 2 games. They haven't been able to hold it. It looks like the Thunder are ultimately going to go and kickstart their dynasty starting this season. So I don't think they'll be an option, obviously, for Giannis moving forward. And seeing the results and seeing what transpired in that draft lottery and seeing the Spurs get the number 2 overall pick, I now do believe that the Spurs might have leapfrogged the Rockets in terms of the potential landing spots for Giannis this summer in the Giannis sweepstakes. So I'd say it's probably between the Spurs and the Houston Rockets with the slight edge now at this point with that number 2 overall pick going to the San Antonio Spurs. But great question, Mike. And thank you so much for that super chat. I do appreciate you so much. We've got CPMYR back in again. CPMYR, who's made a lot of contributions tonight to the SCAP Live After Dark Lounge. So CPMYR, thank you so much for supporting me and us here. Gary, what is this most recent question by CPMYR?
Is there any chance for the NBA to implement the plan both you and Jason Whitlock had laid out on those live streams, or till that fake king retires?
Good question, CPMYR. For those of you that don't know, I am a contributor from time to time on Jason Whitlock's platform. And I did go to Nashville in studio with him like 3 weeks ago. I was live in studio for like 3 straight days. And he implemented or he discussed this grand master plan to save the NBA, his grand master plan. I think he did raise some good points and make some good suggestions. I think some of the suggestions are pretty unlikely. And I think ultimately it's just a matter of will for the NBA if they're going to really implement any substantial plans to save the NBA, so to speak. I think one of the biggest things playing in the NBA is fully guaranteed contracts. And there's really no way to put that genie back in the bottle, so to speak, or to walk that back. At this point, at this stage, the fact that the players have had these full guarantee contracts for so long now, really you're going to be facing maybe a substantial work stoppage in order for the ownership group to be able to get that righted in the next CBA, which the next CBA doesn't expire for like another 5 years, I think. But when that does expire, you're going to be looking at maybe a full lost year of games amid like a pretty protracted and vicious battle between the Players Association and ownership in order to implement some of the things that I believe that you need to implement in order to truly fix and save the NBA. One of the things we could do, though, right off the bat is start adding back in things like hand checking, take out illegal or put back in illegal defenses, make guys play one-on-one more, make it more competitive, make people refine the pride in playing defense, relocate that pride in playing defense straight up with somebody, allow the officials to call it more loosely, let physicality return into the NBA. So those are some things that I think are low-hanging fruits that you can do right off the bat. But other things are going to be, it's more of a protracted fix, and it's going to take probably some kind of a lengthier work stoppage. And I don't know if Adam Silver or the owners have the guts to withstand and weather that. I know the players don't. I know the players would ultimately bend because the players are losing more impactful money than the league and the ownership would be losing. And they're losing valuable years of their, they don't have very long careers in general to put forth to build their build their wealth, to build their resumes, and building their cases for what their ultimate resumes look like. So, I think that it's a difficult question, and the NBA finds itself in an unenviable position, but it's not an easy answer. I know that I, for one, am willing to do the work if the NBA board of commissioners or whoever, board of governors, I guess, if the ownership would like to get rid of Adam Silver, Skapatak is here. I am here. I am available to take up the big job, to make the difficult decisions, and to fix the NBA and to get it back on track. But great question, CPMYR, and many thanks to you for your multiple donations tonight in supporting me in the channel. And many thanks to everybody that came out tonight. I see, we have nearly 3,000 total comments in that chat area. So, we were around anywhere around like 500 to 600 people at any given point tonight. Still have 250 people here as we are now 2 hours and 40 minutes into this thing, nearly at 3 a.m. on the East Coast here in the good old US of A, which is where Gary and I are coming to you from. And this was and obviously it's been an emotionally exhausting night for me in terms of the way this game went, the way this series is going. Just a devastating series. Really one of the hardest series I've seen in years, just because I haven't really rooted for any team in years like I have now that I do cheer for these Denver Nuggets, and they are just giving everything, and it is a very inspiring effort, and it's been captivating to see, compelling at times, and it's ultimately going to be heartbreaking at the end when they just fall a little bit too short amidst this just juggernaut opponent that they're facing on the other end. So it is what it is. You just have to lick your wounds, obviously. There's always next game and next year, as the old adages go in sports. So the Denver Nuggets will live to fight at least one more day. That day will be on Thursday. We'll see if they can somehow muster any semblance of an effort mentally to get back into this and to get it back to Oklahoma City for a Game 7, which will be played out on Sunday. Other than that, tonight we also had the Cleveland Cavaliers going out on their shield as well. Shout out to them on what was a great season. They came to conclusion, obviously too briefly, I'm sure, for them and their fans. A very disappointing end to what was otherwise a very stellar season for them. Hopefully they get healthy over the summer and come back and they're healthy next year in the playoffs, and they can give it a more concerted effort and a more viable shot at it next year at full health, because I think they didn't get to show what they were capable of in these playoffs, and that's a shame. So Donovan Mitchell, a heroic performance tonight on basically one leg, it looked like by the end. So that's what it was tonight. I really didn't want to come on here. I didn't want to talk about this game at all. Ultimately, I'm glad I did, and I'm glad that you guys were out here to take part in it. And again, I cannot thank you guys, all of you, enough for the absolute outrageous night in terms of donations and super chats in support of me and the channel. I just can't say anything but thank you. I don't know why I'm eliciting this kind of support, but it will never not be really cool for me to see and for me to be on the receiving end of it. So thank you, everyone that continues to support me out here. It really is just, it's so gracious of you guys, and I am very thankful of you and of that. You definitely did uplift me on this otherwise very, very difficult night. So many thanks to you guys. Like I said, I never do promise anything from day to day. I never know what each day holds in store for me, or if I will return that night to the SCAP Live After Dark Lounge. So I don't know if I'll be back on tomorrow night or not. If I am not, then I will see you sometime soon. I can't promise that. Gary, many thanks to you again for tonight, for your efforts. Very well done, as always. And Gary and I will see you, if not tomorrow, like I said, sometime soon. So guys, make sure, if you have not, please do. I know I lost one subscriber tonight, apparently. So make sure, if you are watching at this point and you are not subscribed, please do consider doing that now to try to get me to my goal of 100,000 subscribers this year. That is the big thing that I'm chasing, the big carrot. And also click those notifications on, because you never do know when I might drop a video or when I might crawl onto one of these lives, even after such a devastating night as tonight was for me. So click that subscribe button. Stay tuned, guys. Until next time, have a good night. And thank you again.